feeling great.
Can you believe this, man?
Yo, man, look at this place.
Third time's the charm?
Who did you steal from?
This guy goes by the name of Drake.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
What's up, sir? How are you?
I'm good.
Cheers to this moment.
Yeah,
Please,
please.
brother.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming out here.
Fine.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh, well, we're at Drake, man. Jesus, man.
Well, we are in Toronto, Canada, at my house, which is a nice thing to say because it's been a few years in the making. I just moved in about like 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Okay.
So still getting settled, getting adjusted. But yeah, it's great. I've been just getting settled.
Yo, why does it always do that? I don't understand why it always does that. It does it every time, dog. Every single time.
I actually just had a conversation with the guys the other day because we were kind of in a stride for music, and I took like the last like 2 weeks to myself pretty much, and I was, you know, me, I feel guilty when I don't work, so I just sent this apology letter out to everybody, like, you know, but I say that to say the reason why is, just, you know, I feel like I haven't felt like my life belonged to me this much, and probably in the whole span of my career. I mean, you know, you just get so caught up in work that you forget that, like, you know, you have like a personal life. And
So
like,
this
you
place
know,
is kind of building a balance?
Yeah. I mean, it really is like sort of like, I mean, I live here like pretty much by myself, you know, so, yeah, it's just bringing me a lot of balance, a lot of peace, you know, a lot of time to reflect. You know, like Oliver told me the other day, yo, I hope you're just like, you know, like lighting one spliff and just walking around the house and just realizing like, yo, you really, you know.
So you like celebrating the whole birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's what I do. I wake up in the morning, I start drinking espressos. I wake up in the morning, I start drinking espressos. I wake up, have like a, you know, a nice balanced meal, put on some great music. I don't know if you guys went to the toilet yet, but you know the toilet plays pop.
I did
Wow.
pee and not
Yeah.
I got scared.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It's just curating the space, but it's been great, man. It's it's really setting me on a new path, and you know, especially at the turn of the decade, it's almost perfect timing.
You live here, but you've been living on the charts for like the last 10 years, man. Like,
That's what we want to say. I mean, the main thing is to everybody, man, you're the artist of the 10s.
yes.
This is your decade. It's a decade of dominance.
Facts.
I just feel like that needs to be said. Like, I feel
Thank
like
you.
a lot of times it's not. I mean, there was some statistic came out about like 400 weeks or something. You was in the top 10 or whatever it was, and then if you didn't count Sicko Mode where you weren't credited, it's really 500. Like, that's insane.
Which,
like,
by the way, I don't know why it wasn't credited.
that wasn't your choice.
I don't know who finessed that, but no.
Well, but obviously you know what you're doing, but then to just see that like really written down and see those type of stats, like that's got to even impress yourself, right? Like to see that what you've been able to accomplish in these last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, usually when people start to put it in your face, when it's one of these moments like the turn of the decade or something, is when you really start to sort of see it more and realize it. I never let myself get too invested in the lows or the highs. That's kind of how I stay focused. But yeah, no, it's incredible. One of my friends sent me a video the other day, and it was just like all the top numbers from the last 10 years, and the people. I don't know if you saw that video where all the artists start moving and taking over different spots, and that was pretty crazy because it was like for the whole like last 2 minutes of that video, I was just sitting up there, you know, with the exception of like getting, you know, flipped out with like PS side. Remember that?
Yeah.
Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, it's great, man. It's you know, it's everything I always wanted. It's what I worked tirelessly for, and relentlessly, you know, just constantly trying to, you know, create, stay refreshing, stay consistent, you know, learning the right amount of time to take off, but, you know, so, yeah, but now it's over, so it's just time to go again.
But
you know.
10 years ago, did you ever anticipate having a run like this?
I think I had things in my mind that I wanted to accomplish. I think I had the utmost faith in myself and a lot of confidence in myself. I don't necessarily know if I ever saw it going like this far, but also, you know, as you receive things in life, money, blessings, whatever, your appetite begins to grow, right? So it's like if I give you $1 million tomorrow, you're going to learn what it's like to have $1 million, and then you're going to start being around people that have $10 million or $100 million. You're going to learn that there's other things that you can't get with $1 million. Right. So, you know, your appetite grows, and I think the initial visions that I had for myself just kind of manifested into all
what were those goals then at that time?
I think when I first started out, I just wanted to be just as important as Lil Wayne, because I felt like nobody was ever going to be as big as Lil Wayne, like during like Lollipop times, and obviously like Carter 3 times, and you know, I just never seen rap be that. It just was it was like this bright flashbulb. Like, I just never seen it look so massive and so big. And remember, like, I'm on tour with the guy, so I'm at his shows, and you know, I'm watching everything. Like, you know, and by the way, I don't think that anybody like ever in music from now and before and the future, I don't know if there'll ever be anybody that will work harder than that guy. So that was a big thing that I paid attention to as well. Was just like, he has the most insane work ethic, and I see like a lot of glimpses of that in like guys like Future, Thug, guys that really stay in there and they're like, again, relentless. Like, but like, man, there was nothing like Wayne. Like, I used to watch Wayne cut like 4 or 5 classics in a night, like joints that like would just go on to be like, it would be mind blowing. You know, you get 4 verses off, and then like 2 months later, 3 months later, those songs would come out. And I can't believe this is like, you know, Make It Rain, or like, you know, like whatever. So, but anyway, I think initially my goal was just to be a protege that didn't flop. You know, I just wanted to be somebody that was like remotely as important as my mentor. And from there, you know, I think a lot of things changed when Wayne went to jail, because it was really a moment of realization. Like, all right, this guy pretty much put all his trust and all his like power behind us, and now like it's on our shoulders to like make sure that when he comes home, you know, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, if your man goes in and does a bid and you guys are doing a thing together, you want to make sure that when he comes out, you come pick him up in a nice car and say, yo, here, you know. So it was that type of responsibility where it's like, yo, when my guy comes home, I just want to make sure that this thing is bigger than where it was when we left off.
So how do you think you held it down in that period?
Just from all the teachings, all the things that I learned. You know, I think I just clicked into a different zone naturally, you know, because like I said, I was out here by myself. I mean, obviously it was me and Nikki, but you know, I always felt like, okay, I'm Wayne's little brother, and he's dependent on me to carry this name, you know. And at that time, Young Money was a lot more connected, so I felt that obligation to everybody, to Mac, to Nikki, to Tez, to, you know, to really take things to whatever level I could take them to. And I think I just did it by, like, again, observing him. I knew what it was to try new things on records. I wasn't afraid. I loved to work. And Wayne always embraced me working in my own space. He never told me, yo, you have to work like me. You have to stay up these hours. You have to do these drugs. You have to. He never was like that. He never pressured me to do nothing. He always wanted me to work the way I felt. You know, the way and my assistant right now, who I've been with for years, I'll never forget, like, the first time I was like, well, look, the way I work is I need 40 here, you know, because that's my engineer, and I like, you know, he knows what to do with my vocals. And I remember CJ, you know, who, again, is like, you know, we formed a 10-year bond, if not more now, but I remember CJ being like, yo, what, we're going to book this guy's boy a flight to come in, like, just let him get in the booth with who we got here, you know, why are we booking this boy a flight? And Wayne,
you could probably get any producer at that time, too, right?
Well, I mean, it was just, we were at Hot Beats, and they had engineers. So he's like, what? Like, this guy's going to fly another guy from Canada? And, you know, obviously CJ, doing his job, trying to watch over the money, you know, was like, why are we flying in Drake's boy? Or not, I wasn't even Drake. It was probably just like, yo, why are we flying in this light-skinned kid's boy to come and help him with his music? But Wayne, you know, Wayne stood up for me, and he's like, yo, get him whatever he needs. And I think with those tools was how I was able to maintain for that stretch of whatever it was. I think it was a little under a year. but you know, just to have it primed for him to touch road again and know that it didn't take some deep plummet to the bottom. You know, it was just, it was bigger than ever. I think by the time he came out.
Yeah, even musically, it sounded like you changed as well, because like if you listen to your old records, it sounds like someone's doing a bad impersonation of you. And it's like fast forward, it sounds like night and day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you used to stretch out the vowels.
Yeah.
Like let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you know, moving forward, it changed. Was that stemming from that situation with Wayne?
I think that was just the times, man. It was like finding myself. You know, you can always hear a rapper finding themselves if you give them more than like 5 or 10 years. You know. So yeah, I mean, I used to rap like Button back in the day. Just like with the way I used to try and get like certain flows off, and then, you know, when I met Wayne, I realized that the goal was to like get bars off, but also have these catchy nuances that people can grasp onto. And I think a big thing that changed my music too was understanding the performance element. So to watch what records work on tour for Wayne, or to start doing my own shows and see, okay, like cool, you know, like I do love to make, you know, R&B music, slow music, melodic music, but like, man, it feels good to have one of those slappers. Like, it feels good to have people screaming those words back at you, and they start moshing and they start going crazy. And you know, again, your appetite starts to grow, and R&B music or songs like Best I Ever Had, you know, aren't enough to satisfy the palate. You want more. You know, you want to tap into different things. And I think I'm, you know, probably the biggest case of that, where it's just like I've almost left no genre untouched at this point. But that's also just because, you know, like it's been quite a while, and I like to also enjoy what I'm doing. I mean, I still love making music, and part of loving it is a challenge, right? Like I need new challenges. So, you know, people often question like, oh, why, you know, all of a sudden you're switching your accent and making this type of music. It's not that. It's just, you know, at the end of the day, I can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again, because one, you'll get used to it and then you'll be over it, and two, for me, it's like, you know, I want to try my hand at something, and you know, I don't really think I fucked it up yet, you know. So that's a good.
You mentioned Best I Ever Had. That was your first, I guess, legitimate, like, serious hit, right? Like, how did that change your life? And like, it's interesting. A lot of times, the song that breaks a hip hop artist through may not even be in the set list anymore, but that's the record that was like the record that changed everything for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Best I Ever Had was I remember, I don't know if we told this story before, but I remember that.
It's okay, Drake, just to wrap it up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be repetitive with the stories, but I'll never forget, it was Rich Paul that was telling me that Uptown was the single, right?
That little...
No, sorry. It was me telling him that Uptown, I was like, yo, Uptown is the one. This is what we should go with. And he was like, yo, nah. Like, what are you talking about? This other one is the one. Yeah, I mean, it was just, you know, for lack of a better term, it was the definition of like 0 to 100. Like, that shit went crazy. And, you know, at a time when, you know, Hot 97 was thriving and radio was thriving, and yeah, that brought in all the like, you know, my first like celebrity admirers, like other artists and other, you know, famous people just showing me that they were listening, which is obviously, you know, through G. Roberson at the time, which is how we got Ye to do the video. And yeah, I just started feeling like, that was the first, like, if you watch that video, I'm so scared I can't even rap into the camera. I'm looking anywhere else but at the lens. Yeah, but, you know, that day, probably shooting that video, was the first time I was like, oh shit, like, I'm a rapper in the rap game now. This is happening.
You did click with the whole So Far Gone project that was going to be your breakthrough. That was your third tape, right? Like, did you feel like this was you were getting better as an artist, and this was a different?
Yeah, I knew when we were finishing up the tape we finished recording the tape in the Beverly Hills Hotel, because at the time, Wayne used to live like a chef, like a prince. Like, he used to have seriously, he used to have like probably like what 30, 40 rooms at the Beverly Hills Hotel. or is it the Beverly Wilshire? Yeah, the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. He used to have like 30, 40 rooms, open room service. Like, you know, like you could order
Oh
a
my
dollar
God.
and a
Everybody.
steak.
That's crazy.
So yeah, at the time, you know, he was just
Never shoot
posted
that
up.
shot, bro.
He was posted up in LA, and we were posted up too. So we decided, you know, we were gonna finish the tape out there, and I was where, you know, we did like Bria's interlude where like Omarion came through and did his piece, and yeah, I remember. I think there's actually a clip of it. I don't know if 40 has it or if it's online, but we were all in the hotel room, and Jackie Long was there. And we were all toasting to this tape, and I remember I went out to the car. I think it was like a BMW, like 645 or whatever. And me and 40 just played the tape fully front to back in the car. And I remember we just looked at each other like, yo, I think this is it. This is really about to happen for us, you know. There's just, that really showed me like, you know, what it is to have an album with like, you know, 7 or 8 joints on it that I know people are like, they have to be invested in this. There's no way, you know, there's no way they could just ignore this. Yeah. You know, starting with like Lust for Life, like I knew from that intro, like I think this doesn't sound like anybody else or anything else. And
Say You Will freestyle,
yeah, Say You Will. Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously like coming.
Because that became its own movement at the shows. Like,
yeah.
how did that develop? You remember?
Well, yeah, once people started sharing the tape, like at the time, you know, back in those days, it really had to spread from word of mouth. Yeah. You know, it really, you know, it was still people playing the CD in their car. And it was that whole "Who Is This" moment, which is, by the way, the best moment for any artist in music. You know,
you think even today? It's still fresh?
don't ever not like just be present in your "Who Is This" moment, because you're gonna be chasing that "Who Is This" moment for the rest of your career, trying to keep people as interested as they were when they felt like they were one of the only people listening to you. So if they were gifted the music from a friend just by being in the same car, and now they've taken So Far Gone with them back to their school or their neighborhood, and they started, you know, share. That was the beauty of back in the day when it wasn't like, you know, so readily accessible and new stuff dropping every day. And you know, still I think there are people who scour all platforms to find that next wave and that next sound, and I still get joy out of getting new music from friends of mine or sharing. Yeah, but yeah, Who Is This moment is a big moment. So for all new artists, please be present in that moment, because it does escape you and you'll be trying to get it back forever. So but your question was Say You Will.
I just remember I started seeing like on the Now Rights and all that, be like, you waited to see you do the freestyle to Say You Will, and the crowd would just go crazy. And
well, I think it was also because I made that a part of the show that was unpredictable. So at the time, I was legit, you know, sometimes I would, you know, do the first few bars and then switch it, or I would genuinely just freestyle with the auto-tune, you know. So I think people started being like, oh, what's going to be said tonight? But yeah, a lot of those things picked up, and even just like solidifying my relationships with places like, you know, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas really solidified my relationship with Houston, Texas, obviously, as well as November 18th. Right. Yeah. But, you know, expressing my admiration and love for that place, because it, you know, it has such a it's such a big piece of all my realization that this was happening. You know, I mean, me and Wayne, I know I've told this story before. Me and Wayne, you know, met at the Hotel Derrick. That was the first place I'd ever really flown out of Canada for anything besides Degrassi. So I flew to Houston, and you know, I went on the bus, and Wayne was getting the biggest tattoo, bleeding out with like black ink. I was like the most like I was just like, yo, this is crazy. And then I remember just sitting there and like, I'm looking up, and like Kobe Bryant walks on the bus, you know, to get his like Carter 3 iPod, because he wanted to get the album early. But you know, so Houston was a big part of my story, and the first time my eyes got really wide. So yeah, I think that tape was also important in solidifying relationships like that. Solidifying the fact that I can do more than one thing was a big deal too. Like, you know, with the Night Off and Bria's interlude, and then, you know, having the bars from Say What's Real, or, you know, the Uptowns or whatever, just showing people that, you know, this is going to be an exciting artist.
Yeah,
to
that
pay
balance of
attention to.
singing and rapping. Like I know you saw John Caramanica wrote an article about you set a blueprint for the newer generation to come, and everybody on Twitter went crazy. But it wasn't saying that rappers hadn't sang before you, but we people may not realize all the heat you caught in the beginning, being who you were. And like, so what was your take on all that when you started hearing that brouhaha about that?
I mean, well now it's like it's obviously I guess there's a lot of people who contributed to that thing. Like there's people who inspired me. Obviously 50 Cent, 21 Questions will probably be my most inspiring example of a guy, who's not supposed to be singing and girls loving it and going crazy. Obviously you had, T-Pain and Wayne doing their style of things, which was huge. And then obviously another major example was someone who always makes the massive commitment when everyone else is wavering, he's going to go and fully commit, which is 808s. A guy who's known for his bars and his rapping, comical, rapping on College Dropout and Late Registration, going straight to like, just basically a singing album inspired by like genres in music that maybe people in rap didn't even, know about. Right. But I think that, I'll always give credit where credit is due. So I credit all those people with that movement. I think I was probably the one that took it the furthest to go and make like full-blown R&B songs, and just to kind of not be like afraid. Like to me, like making music for girls is just the waviest thing you could do. So I was never really, out of all the things that people will say about me, I was never affected by the whole like, this is soft or this is emotional or whatever, because I was just kind of like, I guess I just make music for like dusty guys and shit, but like that's just not really like what inspires me, So I was always just super hyped to be that guy, and I think over the years and leading into this next decade, it's something that I've grown to just embrace more. It's actually a piece of my musical character that I love the most, which is just the fact that I do both those things and almost am able to split the time evenly.
Oh, bro, I knew I was gonna miss that, bro.
Yeah, I never lean too heavy towards one. I try and I try and find that balance. But yeah, I mean, I definitely was a part of it, especially now. Like a lot of the music that's coming out now is like, these kids are like singing deep emotional pain. You get like a lot of the guys like, there's so many, but like, a kid like YNW Melly who like just has the craziest melodies, pain in his voice, but not afraid to just be like, yeah, sure, like I might be this way on road, but on my music, this is what I enjoy doing, there's so many of them that I could not tip my hat to and pay my respects to. A lot of these kids right now are just breaking the boundaries of what music is. It's just no longer black and white, and I love it. Right. I love it. Yeah, I'm really happy about it.
That's part of like your legacy, and I feel like since the beginning you were always legacy minded. I saw like in previous interviews in Complex, and even like on Underground Kings, you talk about how like I'm the greatest. You said it before you knew you was. Did you always have this confidence coming into it, just thinking about the long game?
Yeah, and I also feel often that that things that I repetitively think about or say, I'm able to manifest. Like, this house, for example, I manifested this because I obsessively used to take my uncle's Audi, and I used to take a girl to Young and Eglinton, Silver City to the movies, and then to Pickle Barrel for dinner, because that was, what I could afford.
Everybody's gonna be excited about.
Chicken fingers and fries, That was
just soda and nuggets. You was special young nigga.
Straight. And then I used to go tell her, like, yo, you want to go see where I'm going to live one day? Yeah. Because this is where I'm going to live one day. And my uncle had the Audi drop, and I used to drive these same 3 streets right here. That used to be my route right there. I used to come down Park Lane where we're at, then back to Post Road, and then back Bridle Path, and Prince used to live around here.
Oh wow!
So I used to pretend like I knew which one Prince's house was. Every night I'd pick a different house. Yeah. Say, oh, that's good. But Yeah, I truly believe, a lot of those things I said, they may not have been the case at the time, but I did believe that they were possible.
What I think is interesting though too, sorry guys, with all the success though, I don't necessarily view Thank Me Later, your debut, is like the hip hop debut success. We've seen a lot of artists have that, like their debut album, whatever that means in this sense. I think so far, mixtapes are albums now. Now people lose one project, but back then, Thank Me Later was building. This is going to be your studio album. This is going to be your
That's
debut.
on film, bro.
And to me, it wasn't the complete victory that maybe you intended it to be.
I think Thank Me Later was the one and only project that I have where I was in that big label, like that like artist just got signed, record label, we're gonna get you features, and here's what we think could, like, that was like probably the only one of my albums that was remotely influenced by where I was at in my career at the time. I think I felt a lot of pressure to prove that I knew like big famous people, just being from where I was from and stuff, like, like I just wanted to show like Toronto, like, look who I got on my album, and yeah, I think I like made majority of that album on a tour as well. I think we were eager to get it out, and I still love it as part of my story. But yeah, it was definitely probably the one project that like maybe had the least personal touches, and it was just really about like how big can we look and how big can we be. And that was just kind of just based off how people were making me feel, like, yo, you need to be. It was in a different era, man. It was in an era where, like, you felt dwarfed by pop stars and superstars, and there was no like, oh, I can just get famous from my mom's basement. Like, I was the lottery winning lottery ticket,
Draft pick.
Yeah, so it was like, but not even the #1 draft pick. I was like the lightning, like got hit by lightning, and now I can like fly, like, and like, and now I'm like invisible and shit. Like, it was like, I was a rare case. And yeah, I think I just felt a lot of pressure to be like, oh, like, I'm gonna kill something with Jeezy and Jay-Z and Alicia Keys, and I was just enamored by like the whole space, it was just pretty crazy to me that any of these people would even make music with me. So yeah, I think that's the best way to describe that album was, kind of a victim of my surroundings at the time, and not like victim, but like a product of my surroundings at the time. Really just trying to execute for the people around me.
And also, I'm pretty sure being from Canada, there was some pressure, coming out of Toronto. I saw in a previous interview with Complex, like in 2009, you said like the city is known for hate, and he never really had that icon, but like a hometown hero. But now you're the guy. Like, how does that feel? Being looked on as that person.
I think that it's just probably the most important achievement of mine, which would just be
what am I doing, like, actually?
Well, there's a few layers to it. So it'd be giving the city an identity.
Right.
What the fuck did I just
where,
do?
I remember a lot of my
it looked like the Phoenix Suns in real life.
Fake American accents, or like if they went and spent like a summer in like Buffalo, they'd be like, yeah, I'm from New York, son. Fuck Toronto, man. I'm from Detroit, and they'd go to like Windsor for the night and shit. But like, yeah, it was just a different time. Nobody was really proud to be from here. Within the music scene, like, it used to be called the Screwface Capital. We just had this thing where, like, I don't know, we just wanted to. I think everyone was just waiting and being like, yo, will it ever happen, and so you get a bunch of people kind of just competing at the same level for the same shows and the same radio spots and stuff, and it breeds a lot of headbutting. And yeah, I think as we started to rise, the biggest thing and the most important thing was that everyone else got to see that it was possible. Because at the time, the pitch was far-fetched. Like, okay, so you're telling me this Canadian Jew child actor is gonna be what? Is gonna be like someone that we say is in our top 5, top 10, whatever. It's like it was a hard sell, and I think that it took me probably being the furthest candidate and making it happen for everybody else just to realize, like, you know, it's like even with like, man, all these guys, like you look at the footage of Abel downtown Toronto singing, you know, back when he was just roaming the streets and, you know, and just up to no good, but just had raw talent. And, you know, Tory Lanez, who used to be like outside like shopping malls trying to battle people and shit. Like, you know, all these people had drive, and all these people had talent, and I think that just the realization that it's possible was extremely important. I don't credit myself for anything other than that. I don't credit myself for just opening that next chapter in everyone's minds where it's like, all right, like if this person can do this, I can do this too. That's the only thing I ever want to take credit for when it comes to, you know, when it comes to whatever impact I had on other artists from the city, because I truly believe that all these people deserve to be where they're at, and, you know, probably would have found their way, but I think that moment was a turning point for everybody. Like, yo, this is crazy, and like I gotta get, like I know I can get there too. So that was big, man. That was big for.
You think Take Care was the first bridge of bringing that to the table? Like, so do you feel like Take Care, you kind of took control back of your career in a sense and built you and 40 building your sound?
Yeah, I think I just like really came back home, you know, after running around with Wayne on God knows how many tours and studio nights, and yeah, just kind of came back home and reconnected with my friends, reconnected with, you know, 40. Sonically, we reconnected, and just realized that we have a true opportunity to, again, establish ourselves separately from everybody else. So that was when we were truly hell-bent on, we're going to have our own sound that sounds like our city, and it's going to be dark, and it's going to be moody, and it's going to sound like how cold it feels outside. And of course, Oliver, being the genius that he is, goes, well, look, I got this kid, come downstairs in the rain and listen to this kid. His name's The Weeknd. And like, you know, so that was a huge thing, was just like, you know, realizing that there was just other kids cooped up in this dark ass studio, cooking up dark music, you know, and again, like I remember even like during those times, like just being inspired by different things. Like I remember when Abel first played me Dirty Sprite 1, and we were just like, oh man, this is happening in Atlanta too. Somebody's on, and it was just, it was over. Like, you know, like no disrespect to, no disrespect when I say this, but like, you know, the days of like just trying to get like a pop smash with Alicia Keys on the hook was like, it was over. Yeah. I didn't want that anymore. R&B. I didn't need a shiny big. I just needed something that like I could look back on and say, that's me. That's me and my friends and my city and my people. And yeah, I think from there I've never strayed from really that.
That's the thing you don't get credit for. You kind of redefine what a hit is in a sense, right? Because you're this chart topper, but you listen to these songs, they're not like what we were taught were like. Some of them are, but some of them aren't. Most of them aren't like what you would think the radio single is. Mm-hmm. Do you think you sort of redefine what a hit is with your consistency?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we were thinking at the time when we decided to drop Marvin's Room as like a lead single. So yeah, I definitely think that we've always kind of, I guess, broke the mold in that regard, and it just continues. It continues. I mean, even all the way up until God's Plan, right? Like God's Plan was a song that I recorded like on a whim in my condo and thought nothing of it. I only had the first verse and the hook. I sent it to Trippy, and I was like, yo, maybe this could work for your album. And he was obviously, you know, caught up, busy, whatever, doing his thing. And I know people punish him for that. They shouldn't punish him for that, though. You know, sometimes artists send a song, You know, I was looking through my text the other day, and Young Thug sent me that Lil Baby song to get on, and I was so mad because I just Lil Baby off So Much Fun. He had sent me, he had sent me like 12 songs, but in that 12-song package, Lil Baby was in there. I was like, damn, that's like one of my favorite joints on the album. How did I not get a verse off on that? But yeah, you know, I sent it to him, and you know, whatever happened, it didn't really work out that way, and then it leaked. And people forced my hand because they were like, yo, that shit sounds hard. And we had to rush and turn around because I was worried that another artist was going to get the version and just start laying like random verses on it, you know, which back in the day was a huge hustle for people, getting leaks with like one verse idea leaks, and then like a random artist off like, you know, whatever would just be like, yeah, this is me and Drake's new shit. Like, but yeah, so we rushed. Like I remember like that night when the clips came out, and I think it was like around New Year's Eve, right? Yeah, and we were rushing to try and turn it around in the next 2 days. And I remember I just was like, yo, I have to do a second verse. It has to be hard. And I did the line, you know, the line of the song, you know, I only love my bed and my mama, you know, and when Noel put the drop on that line, I was like, okay, maybe. But even then, I mean, you know, my point is I never could have told you a week before that God's Plan was my single and it was going to be the biggest song of my career. I never would have known that. My hand just got forced. And it is truly, you know, I do feel as though I can put in the maximum amount of effort. I can use all my heart and my soul, you know, in my writing. But at the end of the day, I am being guided by some other power. I don't know what it is, but somebody likes me somewhere, you know, and that's just the facts, you know, like a lot of this is organic. It's not that calculated. And it's out that way. I think we all have a good ear, and there's a core 8 to 10 people that I really look to for opinion. And once those people tell me that, once those people, with one of them sitting right there for sure.
He said I can't mention him.
Yeah. They're ever elusive. Once those people, you know, give me their nod of approval, then, you know, I'm usually comfortable enough to say, well, fuck it, let's try it. And I can't think of that many times where it hasn't worked.
Too. That's the thing too. A lot of artists get to the point where they're successful, they don't even listen to even 8 other people's voices. Like you feel like at this point in your career, you're still willing to say that feedback from your core, from your team.
I think I'm way too self-conscious to not like require approval from people who I respect. I'm a very insecure person when it comes to my music, and especially when we're talking about starting a whole new chapter like what we're working on now. And that's only because until you've surrendered it to the world, you really don't know how people are going to feel about it. And even when you surrender it to the world, now we're in the times where, you know, the first reaction is just people just want to say the funniest shit. So it's always like the album will drop at 12:01, trash bins, you know, whatever. For any artist, you know, it's like, you know, I think people are more excited about, you know, being top comment than being, you know, actually really taking in an album and listening. But inevitably, you need music in your life. So then 2-3 weeks passes and you get an honest gauge on what you just surrendered.
I remember a line you said on Emotionless. You said opinions from total strangers take you out of your ways. Does that still bother you at this point in your career?
Depends on what narrative we're talking about, you know. But definitely, of course, there's things. You know, we are currently in a time where the stand-up comedian is almost like a newspaper, and the new comedian is the just people with no filter on social media platforms. And while they are undefeated and extremely funny, of course people can start saying things that hurt you, that bother you, that you fuck your day up, take you out of your character, especially when they're just like they're they're curated by a group of people that are ready for the downfall of Drake in this case. So it's like, you know, it can be some hurtful stuff, and when it's completely false, and when it's you know, when it hits you, rubs you the wrong way, yeah, of course. I mean, I think I don't know anybody. Whoever tells you they're not is not being honest.
Why do you choose to stay engaged? Like you're on Instagram, you're active, you'll like things, we'll see your presence, we'll feel your presence on Instagram. Like some artists can't find that balance, and they don't want to be on social media.
Yeah, I just feel like then they beat me, you know, because I enjoy social media. It's good for so many things, you know. I've met so many great people. So many great songs have come from me being active and me actually checking my DM, or me, you know, I've had great friendships form over social media. I've met great women over social media.
Full disclosure.
But
that works.
Yeah, it works. But you know, yeah. So I feel like, you know, for people just because, you know, a few bad apples want to violate, it would be a shame for me to just like be like, I can't deal with this. It also is just like, I mean, it builds strength, you know, as tough as it may be. It definitely strengthens your character. I mean, I've heard it all. I've seen it all. I've felt the worst of the worst, and I felt the best of the best. So it's like, it's nice to be aware of all those emotions. You know, I definitely keep them in my arsenal, in my mind, you know, and use them to channel into other things. So.
I mean, musically, like when it comes to criticism, like you mentioned earlier, how some people might say, hey, Drake's appropriating this culture of music, or, you know, for your own personal gain. How do you feel about those kind of critiques?
I think that it's kind of a similar thing. They're curated by a bunch of people who just weren't on this boat to begin with. Like, even the definition of appropriating a culture is not supporting that culture, doing songs with people who are deeply rooted in that culture, giving opportunity to people who are in that culture. That's not appropriating. Appropriating is taking it for your own personal gain and denying that it was ever inspired from this.
She's courtside. Hey, Allie.
That's
Thanks
the
a lot, guys. I'm here alongside Coach Malone and Coach. A strong first half for this team.
To dance hall, to Afro beats. Me, I've always looked. Anytime I embark on one of those journeys, I ensure that I'm not only paying all due respects verbally, but like I make a point to give opportunity to people that I respect, you know?
Seems like that's like been a constant theme throughout all of your albums. Like, you give a lot of new artists looks.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, I'm not one of those people that can be inspired by something and be like, well, that was inspiring, thanks. And then like just move on with it, like, you know, under my arm, like running down the field. I gotta like, you know, at least honor the person that handed me off the football before I ran for the touchdown. You know, I definitely feel like because when I do things, they do get magnified and amplified. People can sometimes feel uncomfortable, like, oh, okay, like, you know, One Dance goes #1, and now all of a sudden, you know, this Afro inspired. But it's like, yeah, but like, you know, WizKid was on the song with me, and like, you know, I had blessings from like the real dons in that space. You know, I know those guys. I link with those guys. I go to their shows. They come to my shows. They touch my stage. So it's like, you know, the chatter is one thing, but in the community, amongst the real G's that are really doing this shit, I'm solidified for sure. You can ask anybody. Nobody's gonna sit there and say, yeah, like anybody that with real respect that's in any of these communities you're talking about, any of these genres, nobody's gonna be like, yeah, you know, it's gonna be the guys that are like, you know, that didn't get the look. You know,
all right,
guys
Katie, it's
that
time.
Like, are no longer even relevant in that space, but they have a radio interview that day and they want to be like, oh yeah,
what am
Drake,
I doing?
yeah, him doing Jamaican music is whack, you know. But it's like they're also mad that OVO signed Popcorn. They're also mad that I was building with Movado back in the day. They're mad that, you know, I link with this person and that person and not them.
Right.
So, you know, some people also feel it. You can always tell when it's personal,
right,
fueled by personal gain that was never granted to them.
It's interesting because like listening to your music is like you're super successful, you're one of the best to ever do it, yet you still have this chip on your shoulder. I remember listening to Diplomatic Immunity. You know, you have the line where you say you're black excellence, but it was come to you, it's not the same though. Like, why do you think that still, like, I guess, that dark cloud is over your head?
Because he's a square,
well,
quote unquote.
I think I've been in a lot of rooms and in a lot of conversations and just I've felt the other side of judgment and, you know, racial judgment sometimes, like being light-skinned, you know, being Canadian, having people that I look up to and respect tell me that I can't identify with what's going on because, you know, granted, I'm also not the most outspoken person when it comes to political issues. I prefer to talk about it amongst my people, and if we're going to do something, I prefer to go and make the change or actually do something and not just like post about it so that people are like, oh wow, this guy's really conscious about what's going on. Like, you know, the work we put in the communities, you know, the way we give back is legit. It's on the ground. You know, it's not so you guys can all just like, you know, double tap and say, wow, oh my God, Drake's so like.
You said if you hold your tongue, you get crucified.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, sometimes you can feel that way, but now I feel like the first reaction is to post about something, and then people often just forget to do anything about what they posted about. You know, but I think that there's definitely a sad thing that goes on in celebrity culture where people post things because they feel like they're obligated to. People post things because they know that it makes them look like they're actively invested in certain things, but they're really not. You know, they're really actually not giving their money or building any opportunities for kids, building basketball courts, building schools, helping kids get through, you know. So, yeah, I'm just one of those people. I like to really do it, you know, and especially, you know, with me and the elusive one, you know, we you know, it's something that we really just do it from way back in the day, from Strawberry Mansion times, from, you know, we've always left our footprint in the community in a real way. Even back in Jamaica, you know, when I did shoot the video there, like we didn't just go shoot the video when I shot Find Your Love. We didn't just shoot the video and dip. You know, we built a place for people to come. We left our money there. You know, it was so. Yeah, going back to your question though, I've just felt the other side of it. So that's kind of where that line came from. You know, I obviously understand the times that we're living in and how serious it is and how divided we all are across the world. You know, with
so divided.
With this,
makes no sense.
You know, with the person that's currently in that position, and you know, having that energy trickle on down. But that line is just me speaking to the other side of things, which is like, yo, sometimes like, you know, some of like my blackest friends can be just as cruel on the other end, you know, by making you feel excluded, or making you feel like you can't get in on this, and sometimes I do feel like. If, you know, sometimes I don't feel celebrated when I know maybe somebody else will be celebrated for those accomplishments. You know, I don't feel like people say when Drake is the artist of the decade, I don't think anybody says, wow, a black artist is the artist of the decade. I don't think anybody says that, really. I never heard anybody say that in the last few weeks. You know, and I associate I associate myself as a black man. So for me, yeah, it's sometimes it's something that I just acknowledge and I just keep it moving. But you know, like I said, I feel like if the situation was different, I feel like maybe some of the massive accomplishments and accolades that we've conquered on behalf of all of us, not just me. It's not like some, you know, it's for all of us, right? Just like how excited I am when anybody else in our space does something great, you know. Yeah, of course, there's a part of me that wishes that I was celebrated a little more, but I mean, who wants to listen to me cry about being celebrated?
I was going to mention, because we talk about Take Care, what do you rank when people celebrate, talk about what records are classics or what albums are classics and those kind of hip hop standards? Like,
3, bro.
Do you view your catalog that way? Do you view like a Take Care a classic? Like, do you get caught up in that in any way, or do you try to stay objective about it?
Well, again, like, I know that there's a narrative. I know that there's like a narrative that is appealing to
Trying to
certain
give him
people
the
to latch
passive, bro.
on
He
to,
went
which is like,
passive.
oh, Drake doesn't even have a classic. Drake doesn't even have a classic, which is obviously, I mean, it's just not, that's not true. But it's just not. I mean, it's just not. But also, it's just tough to be like in the moment talking about classics. Like we're still in the moment, right? Like, you know, like I have trouble defining what a classic is anymore. To me, a classic would be a body of work that shaped that year and the years afterwards, and had a massive impact on the music being made, on the culture. You know, so in that regard, like, yeah, for sure, I think I have classic albums, you know.
Which one? So Far Gone? Take Care?
I think So Far Gone is definitely, it being technically my first, you know, recognized offering.
Now, yeah,
definitely a classic,
I definitely think that. I definitely think Take Care, of course, was a big moment, you know. Was a class. I don't like to give myself compliments, so it's tough for me to say. I need somebody else to say.
Hov loves to debate about where his albums rank, where the discography ranks. Like, to have this output in this decade, do you view your albums as like, these is just where I was at that time, and this is my story, but I don't want to judge them amongst each other?
Yeah, I think they all just stand alone for what they are, and I think when you just look at the year in review of that year, I mean, there's not too many of those albums that you can say that I had one that wasn't important. You know, maybe with the exception of like More Life being a bit of like a bit more of like just an impromptu. But like, you know, even for me, obviously, If You're Reading This was a huge moment. And I think as the years progress, you know, Views and Scorpion will also be albums that you just can't really ignore based on the amount of songs on those albums that were important in the space in that year. You know, like, you know, Scorpion obviously a high volume album, but you know, it's also like Nice for What, In My Feelings, God's Plan, Nonstop. It's a, you know, it's
I was mad because my favorite Drake album is Nothing Was the Same.
Yeah,
and I feel
that's
like
my
that,
favorite album.
is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Why is it still your favorite? And I feel like maybe Kendrick's Ascension at the time, you know, was. Why is it still your favorite? And I feel like. You know, was part of it, but I feel like it wasn't fully embraced as I thought it should have been.
Yeah, I don't know. As time progresses, I have a lot of people come to me and say, you know what? I like Nothing Was the Same better than Take Care. It's just time has to pass for people to like, you know, I also make music that ages well. So sometimes you have to revisit some of the projects and realize how, you know, how well they were.
Tuscan Leather still goes.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why Nothing Was the Same is my favorite album is because of the fact that it was probably my most concise album, and within that concise offering was a lot of great shit. So it's like, you know, I didn't need to go make, for example, 25 songs at that time. I think it was like 15 songs on there or something, and it's like it's a great number.
Should have noticed
like
that was fucking PJ Watson.
And I like the
bro.
ratio of like, you know, I don't know, there's not.
I didn't think that was PJ Washington.
I can look back on and say like,
he's gonna block everything.
You know, I really do like that body of work.
Do you listen to some of your old stuff?
When I'm making a new album, I'll reference it. I actually do this thing where I chart out all my, so I'll write each track list out, and then I'll pick a number. So I'll say like, you know, like right now I have like this new album up next with Take Care. And I'll say, okay, like if I had to like, let me take all the songs I have, the batch of songs, and let me start plugging them in places and just see how does it stack up to an album like that. So I often challenge myself in that way where I'll take an old album and just, you know, if I had to clash that old album with this new album, what would I put where? What would be the intro that I would say, you know, could compete with Over My Dead Body, and what, you know, what's going to be my Marvin's Room, what's going to be my headlines, or, you know, so just trying to like using it as a roadmap almost.
You mentioned If You're Reading This, you know, the intro is Legend. You know, like talking about a legacy. At what point did you realize that, yo, if I die, I am a motherfucking legend?
Again, I think it was just one of those overly confident statements that felt like a great note to start a album on. I definitely think in the last probably 5 years or 4 years, I've really realized that far after I'm gone from here, that I will be a part of music history. And to me, that is a legendary thing, you know, because there's just so many incredible artists over all these years. And, you know, when I think back of people I used to just look at pictures of when I was like 5 years old, or like, you know, and just to think that like people even mention my name in the same sentence as any of those individuals lets me know that I've accomplished something far beyond probably my wildest dreams, you know.
But that project's obviously riddled in controversy because of Quentin Miller, right? A lot of people feel like, well, he helped you with some songs, and even to this credit, I feel like you're still battling these ghostwriting rumors and this type of thing that in some sense, I think, does try to tarnish your legacy, whether it's effective or not. Like, how do you look back on that album, and does that still take away anything from that album for you, or how do you view it now when you look at it?
No, I really have, you know, I've really made my peace. I have no embarrassment when it comes to what I did on that album, you know. I mean, I worked with somebody on, I think, 4 or 5 songs on that record. I pulled my weight when it came to my pen. It wasn't like I just, you know, it wasn't like I needed somebody to facilitate, you know, entire ideas. We worked together. And if I need to be the poster child that took all those hits for all my peers hiding behind me that do the same thing every fucking album, that's fine, I'll do it. You know, because there's a lot of people that link up with other people and make records that you guys love, you know? And that's kind of how music is a collaborative thing, you know? And I understand in rap, of course, in your comment section, it's a little different because we conduct ourselves, and I still associate myself in that community, we conduct ourselves by a few different rules. We tweak the rules a little bit in the sense that
if it's a hook, it's okay.
Yeah, it's like, you know, there's things like that, you know, but, you know, with that being said, like, you know, anybody that knows me knows that my strongest talent is writing. That is my strongest talent. I'm not a great singer. I'm a good performer. I've grown into a great performer. But my greatest talent is writing, you know, and that's why people ask me to write songs for them. That's why people like to get in the room and write with me. And yeah, I want to just encourage anybody, like, look, if it makes a great song and you're the one that's voicing it, but it's you and this other person that's cooking it up, you're not doing anything wrong, you know. And that's like just, again, for me speaking to any new artist, like, don't let anybody tell you that you're not supposed to collaborate on music. That's what this is for. We should, you know, whatever gets you to that destination where you have, you know, a great body of work. If you need somebody to write the whole thing and all you do is just go in and track it, there's still artists that exist like that to this day that people love and revere, and they sell out stadiums.
That's not you, though.
That's not me, no. I wrote by the way, all my biggest songs and any song that really, really did damage for me, I've wrote every single lyric. So that, like,
the hits, yeah.
The hits and the ones that it's like I'm not gonna collaborate with somebody on any of the timestamp records. I'm not collaborating with anybody on, you know, Marvin's Room, or, you know, like the R&B records that are, you know, other than me and Party. Like, I love working with Party.
When you say the timestamp records, that is like the MC, like the bars, right?
Yeah.
Those are like, so I think the idea was like try to discredit you as an MC, that all of that doesn't come from your pen.
Of course.
You're saying that comes from your pen.
But again, curated by the people who are ready to see the downfall of Drake. So again, just another little, like, let's try this angle, you know. It's really like I said, I've done studio sessions with people. When I collaborate with people, I always send the idea first. You know, I'm the one that picks the beat and goes, yo, here, just put a verse on this and take that for your album, your single, or whatever. You know, I put work in. People know me. I'm good for it. You know, so that's why I'm never really stressed about, like, that narrative. It's cool. It's fun. Again, it's cool for, like, memes and people that want to laugh and all that dumb shit. But
how
it's
did
like,
you feel in that moment of Meek sort of putting that out there, and then everything goes crazy, right? A guy that was your friend, you know, things get a little hectic with you guys at that point, right?
Yeah. He was. I think he was in a bad mental spot, and he just made like a decision to go crazy. You know, it was.
Damn, I can't
If
stop
I
this
remember correctly, it was based on a show that I didn't show up for. That was like the tip of the iceberg. I think we had a little miscommunication, and he was under the impression that I confirmed that I was pulling up to one of his shows. I think it was maybe one in Philly, and I didn't show up. And my management, somebody reached out to say I wasn't coming, and I think that being coupled with whatever conversations were happening amongst him and his lady, and him just kind of getting this idea, maybe I don't fuck with him or whatever. And he'll tell you himself he wasn't in the best mental spot at that time, and I think he just took a hard left and decided to just go for it, and felt like he had enough ammunition to maybe put a major dent in my armor or decapitate me, and again, I'm really good at channeling that negativity and those pressures into pushing me to a next level where I go into a calculated reactive space.
Yeah. Charged up back to back. You almost took the bully position. Like, where y'all at? Like,
yeah, I mean, I just felt like in that moment, I just felt like, all right, well, if we're talking about music, let me just show you better than I can tweet you, or better than I can text you. I'm just going to show you what I'm about. And I don't think anybody really expected me to just jump out there and defend myself and go first. And
twice.
And second. So yeah, I think, Charged Up was a thing that, I was just seeing if it was real. I was just seeing if it was, because, you never know how calculated someone's plan is. Maybe they've been sitting on the record for 6 months. They hated you all this time, and they just want to fry you. Right. And so Charged Up was my way of being like, is it real, or is this just like a sporadic, like, outburst? Right. I just wanted to know if it was real, if it was a package, or if it was just like maybe like a mistake on his part, And I started to realize that it was
taking an adversarial stance in a sense.
Yeah, and then I made the decision that I was gonna go again, and I remember I was working on some beat. I think it was like a Boy Wonder beat or something like that, and it was like kind of more like rappy, It was gonna be another like 100-bar thing, and I was with Serena at the time, and we had been talking a lot about her and Sharapova going back and forth over the years, and she had made this comment to me, and she was like, "Well, look, if you're gonna go again, she's like, that beat that's on in there, it's just she's like, you gotta finish it." She's a top competitor. So she was like, you gotta finish it. Like, I'm talking about done, over. And it's gotta be something that everyone that he's with and him have to hear.
Come on, man.
Right. You can't do some shit that's just for the moment and then it goes away.
Yeah.
She kind of put this battery in my back, funny enough. And then at the time, just, again, timing, this kid Dax walked in the studio and never met him before. Played a beat, and that was the first beat.
Right.
And it was slow. It was super slow. It was way slower than it was. And then I told 40, like, yo, speed it up a bit. And that was just when we heard that. I just went into demon mode.
Right.
Yeah, and then, I really, I don't like to glorify the situation and talk about it too much, obviously, because I'm just giving you the background on how it happened. But, I'm not trying to sit here and be like, yeah, my record was something.
The reconciliation, I mean, the Boston show, you bring him out, like, a lot has happened after that battle, right? Yeah. I mean, you could do a whole 30 for 30 on that.
Like,
that
Air
battle,
Gordon.
right? But,
by the way, also these things go to another place, right? So, one thing I could tell you firsthand is like
why would you
Meek's
not
not a
come to
pretender.
me?
He's not a joker. He's not like beefing with some of these
But
other
he
rap guys where
came.
it's like their stories all made up
Pause.
and they're
I
really
just
not. Their
hesitated. I don't know
character's
what the
not
fuck I
like that.
just did.
Meek's really about that. And so, and I can tell you
What the
firsthand,
fuck that was?
straight up. I'm not gonna. I know obviously he's made a change in his life, but I'll be the first to tell you that Meek's that guy for real. So it's like I wasn't beefing with no punk,
Right.
And it's like
They call that a shooting fight?
yeah, for us to be able to turn that around was a big thing. I think we both felt our obligation just to everybody that had eyes on us, all these young kids. We had to turn that around because we know how far it was going, and almost went. So
we talk about reconciliation. You obviously have Chris, Meek, Tory, Puff to an extent, and things have been exasperated by Pusha. At this point in your career, in your life, do you think you could ever squash things or mend things with him?
Well, I'm at a great healing place in my life, which is why all those people you mentioned, that I really never, when I really break down the issues, when I started to sort of stop thinking from such a confrontational, paranoid, violent standpoint, I started to just really break down what's our issue again? What is this over again? Like, it's over a fight we had in like 2009, or it's over it's over the fact that we're from the same city, or it's over, I was able to, to mend a lot of those situations. A lot of people ask me like, yo, why? Like, why are you doing this? Why would you do it? And I wanted my closest friends to know that it's for me, it's got a lot to do with me. It's not a fun life when you're like just in a lot of beefs with people. You got to check on who's going to be at an event. You start moving different. You start, I was changing as a person, becoming a guy that was, definitely willing to do some terrible things, definitely moving with a different energy. And, like I said, it's just not a fun life when you have to just look over your shoulder all the time. Or wonder, all right, if this goes left, which one of my friends is gonna go sit for 2, 3, 4, 10 years? It's just not. It's not a good way to live. In that particular situation that you're talking about, don't know. I have no desire to ever mend anything with that person, and that situation just went. It just went where it went, and it's just there's no turning back. It's not like those other situations that you mentioned.
Did Pusha go too far by revealing the child and presenting that to the world?
Well, I'll say this. I tip my hat to the chess move. I mean, it was a genius play in the game of chess.
Oh, no way I missed that. What?
And definitely, warranted my first quote unquote, loss in the competitive sport of rapping. By choice, obviously, because I bowed out after realizing like the gap between us allowed him to drop, a bomb on the world that really became that was all anyone cared about. I sleep well at night knowing I didn't get outbarred and I didn't get dunned off by some crazy song that it was just, he told the world that
what the fuck?
The biggest artist at the time has a kid that he hasn't told you about. So I knew kind of for me it was over at that point. It wasn't even about battle rap or any of that. It was just the information was too shocking. It was, like I said, it was on his part, it was a genius chess move. He obviously has no, like, when it comes to me, he's not going to have any, like, morals or respect. So the other elements of the record, whether it be, like, just, like, the shit that he's making up about my mom and my dad and all this, like, dumb shit, or obviously the part that hit me the most, which is, like, wishing, like, that my friend that has an illness, like, dies. Like, that shit, to me, is just not really wavy. Like, I'm just not really with that, like. And when I did say, oh, there's rules to this, I didn't mean there's rules that anybody has to follow. But, like, in battle rap, they just headshotted that guy the other day because he was on stage and he pulled out a picture of the guy's dead aunt and started rapping about, that type of shit. And it just is what it is. There's a point where there's a point where you're gonna want to stop rapping. I'm sure I could say something about, you know, your lovely lady or, you know, a child or a family member, and you're just gonna want to not really rap anymore. So that's just kind of where I got to. It's just, I just had to admit, like, yo, I'm really, you know, and when I was making the record in Response, which was a real record, I know people think it's like some myth. It was like on this Vinyls beat, and I just found myself saying things that, like, one, seemed really out of character, just because I was like deeply invested in the situation and getting very angry, and saying things that I don't know if in 2 years I want to hear myself say, and yeah, I just realized that, like, nobody cares about this guy, so it's not really much I can say better than Drake Has a Baby. He won, you know, he won off that bomb, you know, and so, again, you know, it's a dub that, like, you know, he could take it.
Was that true that you wanted to reveal the child with Adidas campaign and things like that?
I wasn't, at the time I was working with Adidas, and we were toying with the idea of a name being a play off of a name, off of my son's name. I wasn't revealing my son with Adidas, so I wasn't going to have my son like that.
I was going to make that shit, bro.
But yeah, no, I was just, you know, to be honest with you, I actually did a DNA test for my son, and they came back to us and they said that the DNA test got ruined in transit, and that they couldn't be 100% sure that that was my son or not. So I was in a really weird pending situation where I didn't want to go tell the world that that was my son, and it wasn't. So, and if you see my son, you understand why.
I'm mad. Here's the thing. I went in the shop. You showed everybody a picture. He not saying he seen the picture.
Showed it to me. And
I know we were cool, Dre. Yeah, I gotta see a picture.
But yeah, no. If you see my boy, you'll understand. Like, you know, at the time, I was like, I mean, he's just a stunning child. You know, the brightest blue eyes. And at the time, I was like, I don't know. But, you know, it actually wasn't until a week before the album came out that I got confirmation that that was definitely my son. It took me 2 more solid tests with 2 different companies. So, yeah, I mean, again, I wasn't like all the details of his record are all just like fabricated, so just to make it more interesting. The story is actually not really that interesting. The biggest part of it is that I have a son. But it wasn't like, I'm hiding him and I still, by the way, I still won't post my son because the world's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. Right.
And like, you know, I'm in a co-parenting situation. Anybody that's in a co-parenting situation understands that you have to split time between 2 locations. So I can't always be there to make sure he's good. The last thing I want to do is have people running around going crazy trying to get my son and do all the crazy shit that they do to me here, showing up outside and with, you know, voodoo dolls and naked pictures.
But do you feel like maybe you kind of crossed the line?
That did happen the other day.
Oh my goodness.
Somebody did pull up with some nudes.
What of you or so?
No. Oh, me? No, like of them.
Oh.
What the fuck?
No, they pulled up with like some nudes and we had to burn them in the backyard.
Oh my goodness.
I felt the like Obia energy.
It's like a seance. But do you feel like you crossed the line when you talking about Pusha? You mentioned his woman, you know, the Duppy freestyle, like.
He has a point. He can say, yo, you brought up my lady's name. Oh, all bets are off the table. That's fine. You know, like I said, we all think differently, right? And even like, you know, even in the Me and Meek situation, if you listen back to those records, and it's something that we talked about before too. If you listen back, it's, you know, we didn't really go that crazy on each other. And we left Nick out of it, and we left kind of family out of it for the most part. Like, it's
both
just
knew each other, more stuff about each other that you didn't go to. Also,
it's whether there was information that didn't get revealed or not. The point is, like, there's just some unwritten rules in the sport for some people. Obviously not for him, and that's fine, you know. and he's just made an entire career off of it, you know.
Oh my God,
And some people like his music. I personally don't, because I don't believe any of it.
He
And I
has
like to listen to
no
guys that I believe.
green window in his fucking three-point shot, bro.
Man, you had the sign mic and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I like to have
I
that.
still have it upstairs.
Idols become your rivals, right? And like, I guess to genuinely lose respect for someone.
Yeah, but it's also, you just get to peek behind the curtain too, right? It's like, you know, when I was whatever 16, thinking that he was the biggest dope dealer in the world, serving bricks to every corner of America. Yeah, sure. I'm sure I was, you know, again, a fan and obviously more so just a fan of like Pharrell and the Neptunes. I always wanted to be signed to Star Trek and stuff like that. That was like the way. But yeah, I mean, you know, now that I'm grown up and I actually know him and the truth, is just kind of like, I don't know, it's not as appealing as it was.
Do you look at it though as like a sidebar almost to the biggest conflict, which is the ups and downs of your relationship with Kanye West at the end of the day?
I think that that's where all of this kind of stems from. It's all kind of rooted in that situation. Yes, you know, I think that he definitely recruited a guy with a similar dislike for me, no matter what he says in interviews. You know, I know that he can tell whoever, you know, I got love for him or whatever, but it's not love. You know, it's there's something there that bothers him deeply, and yeah, I can't fix it for him. So it just is what it is. I can never, ever turn my back on the things that I've said about him in a positive light, and I still feel all those same things. You know,
it's conversation.
Yeah, he's still my, you know, obviously with the exception of Lil Wayne, just because Lil Wayne will always just forever be like something else other than one of my favorite artists. But you know, and if I look at Hove as like the guy who truly probably shaped the majority of my thinking, skill set, all those things, I would say that Kanye West would be my favorite artist, you know, all around, you know, and that's just facts. I mean, I have no problem saying that. It's not like I'm always willing, like I said, I'm always willing to give the love and the credit. But yeah, things have just changed. I'm not just some kid that's a fan anymore, and now we have personal situations. And like I said, a lot of his issues with me, I can't fix them for him.
But would you be open to communication?
No, not really, because it's not on my end. I have no problem. I have no problem with these guys.
One last thing with Sicko Mode as a song. It seemed like in December he went on a Twitter rant and he started to feel like those lines were directed at him.
Of course, though. Of course. But it's also, you know, like I said, this is a sport at the end of the day, and you know, from a very early point, I have never shied away from defending myself. And I'm also sometimes eager to engage if I feel that you want to be slick or be offensive behind the scenes. I might choose to address it in music. And you know, that was how I ended myself up in the Pusha situation, which, you know, some of my favorite fighters in the world, you know, take a guy like Nate Diaz. You look at his record, it might not look like the craziest record, but you know, he's still one of my favorite fighters. He's still
what
a
are you
dog.
doing, bro?
And that's just the sport of fighting. You know, somebody's gonna catch you at some point. You know, unless you're Floyd, pretty much. You know, but for the rest of us, you know, you're gonna get you know, rocked one time by something you didn't expect. So that's just kind of how I chop that situation up. And again, you know, learn from it, channel it into something else. And right now, I'm in a space where, I mean, those guys don't come outside. I don't see those guys anywhere. So like, it's not the same as when I was beefing with Chris those guys, they hide in God knows where.
Time to check in with Ali LaForce. Ali.
Katie, you were able to clamp down defensively as the game wore on.
For me,
what was
I'm
the
at
key
a
there?
great place in my life where
we stay patient, we can touch the shots. They hit some tough ones early on, and I think in the pick and roll, we made a solid adjustment, and we turned that around. Coach made a great adjustment, and we was able to get rebounds to go.
The patience was so important. It paid off. Thanks, Katie.
You think Sicko Mode was your final thing on it, in a sense? In terms of your final statement about him or the camp and everybody in general? Because that record went #1 like last year, and it seems like this year you're in a whole different zone. And like,
yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, you know, God bless him on his new journey, but he's making like, I don't even know if he's ever gonna make like secular music again or not. I don't know which one is non-secular, secular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, if he turns up on me again, I'll turn up on him again, I guess. Like that's just what it is. I'm always down, and yeah, just is what it is, I guess. It's not something I really like. I'm looking forward to, or like thinking about too much. But I'm also like, I'm not just gonna sit by while somebody's, just talking loose about me or whatever I have going on. So, yeah, I guess it is what it is. I mean, it never fails.
Right.
Something will come one day. But knock on wood, I pray that I stay in this place of peace, because I'm enjoying it more than a lot of the past years that have been, like I said, plagued by confrontation and just, it's dark clouds, man. It's negativity, and like I
went from never hear a reply from it to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Free smoke.
But you like the sparring though, because like you say you take shots with the GOAT. You talk about the shots that you sent with Jay-Z. Like, why has that relation remained intact? Why has it never gone left?
I think that we have. I think Jay has a lot of respect for me, and he's aware of the massive amount of respect that I have for him at the end of the day. And I think we both enjoy we both enjoyed our moments of, him, checking the young boy, and me trying to be like, nah, I'm here, like.
Any lines that stick out to you? You be like, oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, there's plenty. That bar from that song is a real thing. We met up and really spoke about all our jabs and fallouts and what prompted some of those things, and but
which song is that? You said which one?
No,
we're talking about
Survival.
Talking about the bars that we sent in.
Survival.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was great. It was a really important moment for us, and I think from that point on, we haven't really engaged again in anything, and I don't think I'd want to at this point, because with everything that's going on, we're losing so many people, and I do think it's really important that we, as wrapped up as you can get in this competitive side of things, I do think it's important that when you have that much respect for somebody, or somebody has that much of a fingerprint on who you are as a person, it's just important to start showing it. So I also had to man up and just realize, like, yo, this is Hov, and like, I gotta, like, while I'm here, while he's here, while all these other people are here watching, I gotta at least, pay my respects. So
how did Talk Up come about? You ended up putting him on there. I was surprised to see that. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, Talk Up is like Talk Up. We just always have had like these super lyrical records, and I was trying to get like Jay on a club record, like, I knew it might be my last Jay feature. I was like, oh, for the last hurrah, like, let me try and go sicko mode #1 with Jay, like. But it was tough. He was doing shows at the time, and obviously, like, thank you to like No ID and Guru. Those guys really like pushed hard to get me that verse. But yeah, looking back on it, I probably would have just rather do like Light Up 2 or something like that. I think everybody just wants to hear me and Jay rap for real. So that song, was. We definitely got to get one more after that, so we can at least solidify the ratio. Sure. Yeah.
Why would you say last one? I mean, I know you said on Western Road Flow that you're gonna retire at 35. Like, you
not last one for me. I just thought I don't know what his plans are. I just thought it might. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his plans are.
But is that your reality? Retiring at 35?
No, not anymore. Okay. I think when I was like 20 something, it sounded better. I do have trouble, like, I just turned 33. I do have trouble thinking of myself rapping, like, past 40. But then again, it's the same way I had trouble thinking of myself rapping at 35 when I was, like, 26. So I think it's just, you start putting these faraway numbers, and you're like, damn, 7 years from now, like, there's no way I'm going to be, doing What a Time 3 with Future talking about activists and Percocet. Like, so, yeah, you just, I don't know, I guess you just always set these, like, distant things, and you're like, nah, but I love making music, man. I just finished my studio in the house. I haven't even recorded the first song, man.
This guy I keep trying to go do everything. This guy wants to talk about the new album, man. What are you talking about?
But before Chris Brown, we didn't get to talk about Chris Brown. There's so much to talk about. I want to talk about someone you do like make.
Chef, can I have another?
We're gonna be here for a while. You make good music with Rick Ross. You know, we talk about the current records. You know, Bury Me the Grave. You know, Gold Roses. What is it with the chemistry with Ross? Like, why do you guys make so much good music together? And where the hell is the Yellow mixtape?
What's the Yellow mixtape?
Oh, YOLO.
The Yellow mixtape?
Oh, YOLO mixtape.
YOLO.
I was like, me and Elliot got a mixtape together. YOLO mixtape.
I need that intro. I need the intro.
Yeah, no, I think Ross has just always been one of my favorite rappers ever, and I think when we hit each other up to do a song, it's just always an enjoyable text to get, you know. It's always enjoyable when he hits me and says, yo, I need one, or, you know, I hit him and say, yo, I got one for you. We just know what time it is. I know he's going to bar up. I know he's going to, you know, I know what he's going to bring. And he's just one of the most consistent people. If you ask something of him, like, you know, sometimes it's tough to collaborate with people because if they don't deliver exactly what you were thinking of, how do you tell them, this wasn't, you know, it can really sever relationships. And Ross is just one of those people I've never had to worry. I've never had to, like, question what he's going to bring. You know, he didn't just, like, I didn't send him, like a Gold Roses and he sends me back, like him, like, singing in falsetto and, like, auto-tune, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, yeah, he's just consistent. What is going on? Most consistent people, if you ask something of him, like, you know, sometimes it's tough to collaborate.
I ain't even peeped. You missed the first one, bro. I'm not even peeped that.
It's consistent, man. He's just really one of the best and one of the most thorough that does this for real.
Remember, social people when you squashed it with me, it was like, that means Drake and Rick Ross can make records again.
Well, that was like one of the most painful parts for me. I mean, aside from just like the rift that situation put between the family and, like, you know, obviously changed me and Nikki a lot, probably forever, you know, like that situation took its toll, but one of the most painful parts was just being like, man, Ross is like one of my OGs, one of my mentors, and one of my favorite people in the game, and I might not be able to make a record with him again because he has to pick a side. It was like,
he made that,
you know. And that was kind of the case with a lot of that, you know, more so Meek, because, you know, Meek's a bigger artist than the guy that I'm beefing with right now. So it's like,
wow,
it really came down to like more people picking sides, you know,
people liking those people.
Yeah, and that's really tough, man. When people that you just have history with feel like they have to choose a side. So
how do you and Chris Brown get back together and make a damn smash?
Right.
He's got like 87 songs on his album, and that's the hit. Like, there's no guidance, no shots, but like, talk about no guidance. Like, how did that come together?
Now let's catch up with David.
I think we've come together before and tried to link and make music, and I think we were always kind of forcing it. I think there was always like resentment on both sides. You know, really at the end of the day, you know, again, when you kind of step away from it and break it down, you start to feel silly because it's like over like girl stuff, you know. But obviously that can snowball into like real shit, and that's what happened in this
real
situation.
Shit that ruined the New York club life. It did. You shut down New York club life, man, forever.
I have no recollection.
Your attorney's here with the
I have zero recollection.
But also makes great records.
Yeah, but yeah, so.
What made No God is different? Like,
yeah, it was, well, I think we just both grew up to the point that like that person that was kind of, you know, in the middle of us is like no longer a part of like either of our like lives currently.
Right.
And I have the utmost love and respect for her. I think of her as family more than anything. And I actually had like kind of a moment of hesitation before because I didn't want her to ever feel disrespected by me linking up with him. But I also know how many nights she knows that me and him have both been consumed by this issue. And I think she's a good person with a good heart that would rather see us put that issue to bed than than continue like childish shit that could end up in a serious situation. So I decided to go ahead with it. And, you know, I was hearing from people that he was in a really good space to link up. And yeah, I was like, I think like that show when he came out, it was like one of those like best buds moments, you know? It was like, man, we're best buds. We missed all these years. And yeah, I mean, I just always really had a lot of admiration for his talent. And I think finally he gave me the mutual respect and admiration by allowing me to take the lead on the song, you know, which was always kind of like, not like whenever we'd link up, he'd always have something in mind. And then I'd be like, well, maybe we should, you know, and again, people can take those things personally when it's like, when the one they think, you know, that you should get on, you're like, well, let me try something else. Right. And this was just, a big moment for me because he, you know, he let me send him a joint. And he just bodied it. He just bodied it. And I knew right away when the song was finished, I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Like, not only did we link back up and like have like a cool show moment, but like we did a record together. Right. And it's serious. It's not a joke. Yeah. It's not some, you know, it's not some shit that's just gonna disappear. Like, this is a joint.
It ran the summer.
Yeah, and then again at the video,
can you dance?
I really do thank him, you know. I don't even know if I ever got to say this to him personally, but I really do thank him a lot because, you know, just him, like just both of us being able to put ego aside and him just trusting me again. You know, initially that video didn't have that scene at the end. You know, Chris Robinson was directing it with another guy, and I met up with Chris the day before, and I was like, yo, if you want this video to have the impact, we can't just shoot some shit where we're trying to look cool. We gotta address the issue at hand. It has to be, it has to feel, it has to have that SNL element to it. It has to. I'm like, I promise you it'll be watched 100 times more if we just both admit that this is happening and don't try and act like, you got it, girl. Like, so yeah, and it involved shooting an extra day. And, you know, to Chris's credit, he stayed the extra day. He bodied it. He was hilarious. He kept a straight face while I was, you know, pulling my heart out of my chest and doing all that dumb shit. So, yeah, he was just amazing. And I think we both really felt, you know, satisfied after that. And, you know, he's also on my album as well. Well, I mean, if the song, I don't know what's gonna make the album yet, but we have done more music together.
How are you approaching this album?
Well, really just kind of taking all the energy that I've talked to you about and trying to project it into music. The good and the bad that's going on in my life. Definitely taking my time a lot more with this album. I'll go like 3 weeks in between making songs. Just because, like, I'm just kind of enjoying life. I'm enjoying, like, living, going out with people, you know, investing in personal connections, and it's just making my music better, to be honest. I'm touching on things that, when you're just kind of on go mode and you're in studio every night, you kind of just, like, run out.
This year, right? 2019. You took on purpose?
Yeah. I definitely was trying to fall back for a bit. Like I said, Scorpion was a high volume album, so and it was just a high volume year.
And you regressing that sometimes when people do, like with Jay with Blueprint too, like you do a lot of songs, it's like maybe I shouldn't have gave you so much. Do you look like you maybe could have cut Scorpion down?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when I look back on it, I definitely like could have refined it to a project that maybe would have gotten like a bit more like critical acclaim. But I was obsessed with Life After Death, man. I was just so baffled at how Big had so many good songs on a double album with like 20. So I was locked in on this idea, like I'm gonna do a 20-something song album, and 12, 15 songs are gonna be remembered for being amazing. And funny enough, I mean, I did achieve. I came close. Yeah, it's just. You know, there's again, like I said, going back to Nothing Was the Same, I think when I deliver my vision in a more concise fashion, I think anybody, when you deliver your vision in a concise fashion, it really gets the point across a lot more than having moments for people to be able to drift and be like, yeah, nah, not really, you know, like when you really, but it takes a lot of discipline, because it's like you can get connected to songs and then you can get down to it and be like, well, what would I cut? You know, like what am I supposed to cut?
Yeah.
And
you want people to hear it. Right?
Yeah, and what am I going to do with these songs that took me, you know, a month to finish, you know, all things included. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's discipline. It's discipline, and that's kind of what I'm really trying to exercise on this next album, is just making the best music possible, and then like having the heartbreak of being like, all right, so.
Is he going for kind of what Nothing Was the Same Your Favorite, making it the most concise vision, I guess, in a sense?
I wouldn't say most concise. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to ever make like a 12, 13 song album, but only because, and this is what I want people to give me credit for. The reason why you'll never get like that 10 song classic, 11 song, because you know that's 40's thing. Oh, I need the 10
that
song.
45-minute one song.
Yeah, I need the 11. I need the 11 song.
That's
Drake
what I think your next
classic.
album should be.
I'm the only one that has a commitment to do two things. I have to do two things every album. I have to give the people that like to hear the singing enough to hold on to, and I have to give my, you know, I have to give Braun enough bars for him to, you know, that's my, you know, that's my guy, Braun and Matt. Those are my bar. We have a bar group chat. It's like we bar up on each other all the time, straight, just freestyle battles in the group chat. Those are my rap guys, you know. And of course, like the elusive one, you know, is another guy who like is always gonna love, you know, love the other records, but the ones that we connect on most are the ones where I'm just giving those life talks, like the record that you heard the other day.
You sent me and Elliot this record.
Yeah.
When to say when, and that might not even make the album. Obviously,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Lucy.
Yeah, I just wanted you to hear some talks before we did this, because I felt like, you know, it's like weird to do an interview with no new music context. So I was just giving you a little preview. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, just to show you I can still rap, basically. I just sent that to you.
One of the things in the credit, you talk about Baby Wayne and Tez responsible for this shit. It's one of the lines in there. Like, people are curious, like, with the whole Young Money, Cash Money, Wayne's conflict with Baby, like, where do you stand with all that? And then we saw, like, was it Frozen Moments?
Yeah, Frozen Moments
as
for
a
the care
label.
package.
Like, where are you signed to? Like, how did all that situation, business-wise, affect you?
Well, you know, my loyalty obviously lies with the people who gave me the platform, my first shot. So that's really where that line comes from, despite, you know, how things may have ended up. I'm always so grateful for those three people selflessly giving me a chance, and not being intimidated when it was working out. You know, for another artist to give an artist a shot and then see that artist get as big or bigger at the time, eventually, can be tough. A lot of people wouldn't be able to handle that. A lot of people who have artists signed can't handle that. Yeah, and Wayne, you know, to his credit, was the most selfless person. My current situation is, I'm always going to be involved with like the, you know, Cash Money, Young Money imprint. Like, you know, my loyalty, like I said, always lies there. But, you know, I'm just signed direct myself to Universal. Yeah, to Universal. So, you know, that situation was a lot of mess that needed to be cleaned up over the years. And, you know, you just think of where those guys started. I mean, it's only right that there's going to be a lot of gray area over 20 years of, you know, hustlers coming out of New Orleans to go on and pretty much keep Universal alive.
Market share.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, you know, and that's, yeah. So it's really kind of, I kind of stay out of it. It's not really my business, and obviously this guy over here has ensured that my business is straight, and that I'm able to, you know, just see the fruits of my labor, and that's what I'm very grateful for, you know, and you know, as well with Jay and Rap A Lot and those guys who were also involved in that situation. I'm obviously very grateful for them.
So you never felt like people was to hype up so many people involved with your career? You never felt like there were too many people in your pockets per se?
No, I was grateful. I had like all these just G's around me, you know, like I had a bunch of guys that, you know, I'm obviously out here giving them return on investment.
I did.
With that comes, you know, just support, love, a family atmosphere. You know, me and Birdman to this day, you know, still talk. Of course, me and Wayne will talk forever. But yeah, I never felt like I wasn't in some scared artist position where I was like being like, you know, blackmailed or taken advantage of. I was never in that position. I just had like real G's around me that supported me, and I'm so grateful for that, because yeah, it's just that's what it is. That's what the mob ties is. It's like, yo, when you're tied in,
mob ties, man.
Man, no, you know what that means.
Mob ties.
Yeah, just,
and Jay Prince's involvement in like him still being so involved in your life and in your career.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you do good for somebody and you guys like work together, it just, you know, you naturally just you build a family atmosphere. You know, Jay Prince is like a father to me, and he takes anything to do with me personal as if I'm one of his sons. So, you know, that's what being tied in is. You know, we're just, you know, I mean, anyone that knows Jay Prince knows what he offers as a man, and that he's, you know, a true man of respect, a made man. And yeah, you know, I'm a guy that was able to do well. You know, I was one of his sons that was able to turn up and bring some money home. So he's always just gonna show love. And yeah, but it's real. It's you know, it's really just based on like hard work and love. That's kind of where our relationship stems from and what it's rooted in. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way, you know.
When you mentioned labels, you know, you got OVO Sound Records. There's a lot of criticism that, you know, when it comes to OVO, Drake is the priority of the label. You know, you have other artists on there. Do you feel like pressure to, like, continue to build another superstar on the same level as you?
When it comes to our label, we've always taken the same approach that Wayne took with us, which is you do what you want, how you want. There'll never be a time where the answer is like no, or like, you know, I really try and stay out of the way of the other artists and give them support whenever they need it. But I'm not a guy that, like, you know, like, again, with the jokes about like, oh, parties in the basement, you know, Party's not dropping music because Party's not ready to drop music, you know, and those two records that came out the other day were a great celebration for all of us, because, you know, Party's gonna drop when Party wants to drop. That's who Party is. Anybody that's ever worked with him knows, like, he does shit on his own time, and you just have to respect it. And, you know, same with the other guys, you know, with Majid and with Division, with Roy. Everybody's allowed to do whatever they want. You can make music with whoever you want. You know, you can drop whenever you want. You can make whatever kind of music you want. And if you need the boy on something, then you'll ask Sporty and he'll call me, and chances are I'm going to do it. So, yeah, I mean, our label is actually an incredible place and a great breeding ground for artists that just really want to do their own thing. And do I feel pressure to create a superstar? I mean, I feel like we definitely have some incredible superstars that are cemented in the music scene. You know, all these guys have had great contributions. Do I feel pressure to make like another like me? No, not really. I honestly, my big thing would be I'd love to like sign a female artist, because I enjoy writing songs for, like, from that perspective, and obviously, you know, I don't really have too many places to place those records, so it would be nice to link with a female, like, in the years moving forward, and try our hand at that. But yeah, it's just an easy-going atmosphere, you know. I think, again, people, like, the jokes are funny and shit, but that's not really the truth behind it. Anybody else
writers to help you,
your
magic.
But when it comes to, like, collaboration with
no, but do you think also, one thing on that, do you think also the fact that things didn't work out with The Weeknd, you know, he ended up doing his own thing, you know, like you said, you would embrace almost building another star, though. You're not really going out of your way trying to make it happen, but if it did happen, you'd be able to deal with and embrace it, and then that didn't work out. Do you think that kind of overlaps a little bit of this kind of organic thing you're building with OVO?
Well, with Abel, we had our run. You know, we had our moments on Take Care. and you know, my features on his project, and he just really came to me at one point, came to all of us and was like, look, like I don't want to sign under another artist because I feel like I could be just as big or bigger, and I want to start my own thing. And it was never like I'm to this day I'm always excited, always super happy for all those guys. And I never like had any resentment towards
Jimmy Butler. What the
OVO.
fuck?
That was never really like. I'm not gonna say there weren't people that didn't feel a way about it, but that was never my thing. I never expected Abel to stay under OVO as soon as I heard him once express that he wanted to do his own thing. So it's like my biggest regret would maybe be that we probably wasted 7 years not communicating with each other when we had something beautiful going on. You know, like OVO XO still could have been a thing. And still will be a thing, by the way.
Heartless #1 right now.
Yeah.
Drizzy Drake coming back 2020.
Yeah. Well, like, you know, it's like
it's crazy hearing this interview, like in the context of everybody Drake is speaking so highly about, just hates him.
Obviously,
him,
like you said, people have to grow, and we got to work through things, and I have my fair share of shit to apologize for, as does he. We've obviously had our, you know, our bumps in the road, but yeah, my biggest regret isn't that like he never signed to OVO. My biggest regret would just be that, you know, we didn't give people that album, that tour, that, you know, yeah, because it's just like, you know, the two biggest artists from the city don't link, so it's just not a good look for where we're from. So, you know, hopefully we can fix that and make good on the years and a thing, and still will be a thing, by the way.
Heartless #1 right now.
Yeah.
Drizzy Drake coming back 2020.
Yeah. Well, like, you know, it's like obviously, like you said, people have to grow, and we got to work through things, and I have my fair share of shit to apologize for, as does he. We've obviously had our, you know, our bumps in the road, but yeah, my biggest regret isn't that like he never signed to OVO. My biggest regret would just be that, you know, we didn't give people that album, that tour, that, you know, yeah, because it's just like, you know, the two biggest artists from the city don't link, so it's just not a good look for where we're from. So, you know, hopefully we can fix that and make good on the years that we missed, kind of like me and Chris did, you know?
Yeah. You see the results.
Yeah, so I look forward to that, and, you know, hopefully he's open-minded to it.
We still didn't get the Wu-Tang Forever video, though.
Yeah, man, what happened with that?
Now him and Weeknd are shooting at each other's houses, allegedly.
What happened with that? It was just, I don't know what happened with that. It was like we needed a whole nother shooting day. And, Mark, can you bring me can you tell Chef to make me another glass of wine, please? Yeah, no, we needed just more time. We need more time and more budget. It was getting out of hand. Yeah. It was getting out of hand, and I remember, like, at some point, like, the labelist and like pulled the plug on it, like, we're not doing this for like some remix video to a song that's not even a single. Like, that was back in the day when people could actually tell me no.
Well, but before you mentioned the Weeknd thing, we listened to the Ride on the Way with Weeknd on the record too. Like,
it's one of my favorite songs.
I was gonna say, he says that's your best record.
We're not out of bounds. Oh my God.
He hasn't made a better record than The Ride yet. Is that fair to say?
No, but I mean,
you take me out the crib.
No, but the thing is funny about, like, I was telling him, like, so you have records that are like hit records, right?
Yeah.
Best I ever had, but that's not even on the set list anymore.
No. Yeah.
And then you have records that could be it's not a performance record, but it could still be a big record. Like, I wonder in your catalog.
My goal always is, if my last 4 songs of my previous tour don't change, then I did something wrong. So, for example, like, if I still have to end the night with God's Plan on this next tour, then I did something wrong. I need just those last 4 slots to me are like, that shows your work in the last, whatever it's been, you know, since your last project.
You'll be happy to not end the show with God's Plan at this point.
At this point, yeah. That would be a big thing for me if I have a record that's big enough that, like, people want to hear it more, and God's Plan moves up to the middle or the beginning of the show.
So what are like five great Drake songs that aren't set lists or single songs that, like,
you have them?
Still... I'm telling you, it's a good debate, right? There's so many records.
Ooh, five
Five
okay.
Drake records that like are still great records, but you probably haven't performed them. They weren't necessarily singles.
Trust Issues. 4 p.m.
Ooh, that's a hard one. Calabasas.
Fire and Desire.
That's tough.
I'm trying to think of bars.
4 p.m. That's my joint though.
Yeah. Nah, I won't put that up there.
Trust Issues, 4 p.m. Calabasas.
Trust Issues, 4 p.m.
Fire and Desire.
Fire and Desire.
Something early.
Tuscan.
Fear, maybe?
Fear's that same thing where I hear like a dated version of myself, you know? I'm like, I could have rapped that better.
What the fuck is he doing? Yo, Casanat, eat a Frank, nigga. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. The fifth one, shit. I got a lot of songs.
So what went wrong with Tyler, man, at the Camp Flog Nog, man?
I just walked myself into a situation. I kind of felt it backstage too. I kept making jokes. I think I actually made a joke on camera. Someone showed me the clip the other day. I'm like, how long do you think it's gonna take before they boo me off stage? Yeah,
it was more jeering and trolling. I feel than actual bullying.
It was bullying. I
tried to listen to one.
It was a clip where he was like, what the hell? I'm performing the hit, and it's like, it's not connected.
Nah, it was just...
You looked really befuddled at times. You was like...
I was a little...
Someone fucking with me? Like, what's going on?
I was a little confused because I just didn't... Like, I was kind of sitting there going, like, you guys know Frank's not here, right? So it's like... You may as well just, like, get over that and now, like, let's rock, because, like, I'm the guy, I'm the replacement, so, I got a couple joints if you want to hear. Like, it was, I actually now, in hindsight, wish I would have said, like, yo, guys, Frank, or just, like, been, like, broke out into, like, a tornado, and just made that, like, those, like, the two, like, biggest regrets in my life. But... Yeah, I just walked myself into a situation that, like, people thought they were coming to a Frank Ocean concert. That was what everyone was there for, and, like, that festival's been on for 8 years, and he hasn't come once, and they thought this was the year, and it wasn't. So
cooking Jimmy, bro.
They really upset.
Yeah, I think
in that position.
Well, I think Tyler was upset. I got a lot of, me and Tyler have a lot of respect for each other, a lot of love for each other.
You're not gonna hit the game whenever. Yeah, right.
I think he went out on a whim asking me to do this, and I had to change my schedule around for it, and
turned it over. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think he thought it was gonna go over really well. Especially like Feel No Ways and Wu-Tang Forever were like his requests.
Feel No Ways, yeah, that's number 5.
Oh yeah, that is number 5. Yeah, yeah. Feel No Ways and Wu-Tang were his requests, and I think he just thought like everyone's gonna love this as much as me.
To check in with Ali LaForce.
Yeah,
that's where you lost the crowd a little bit.
Yeah, they were out of it from Uzi's second song. I mean, they were already like Rocky came out, and you can bring it. And Rocky came out, and Tyler and Rocky are like brothers, so people are excited to see Rocky because he's like part of the, Golf Wang family. Yeah. And then Uzi came out. And they showed him love, and then he tried to do a second song, and they did not show love on that second song. That was when I got worried. I was like, oh, shit, they're not shooting. And he hit the shoulder move, and they didn't respect the shoulder move? They didn't fuck with the shoulder move. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then I came out, and, like, the first song or two was good. They were going off. But at the end of the day, I knew right away. I'm like, they came to see a different show. Yeah. And it didn't matter who walked out, I don't think. They wanted to see their guy. And so, and it was like 2,000 people out of like 50,000 or whatever, 30,000. But it had an impact enough for me to be like, I walked off stage. Like my next songs were about to slap the place. Like I had like Nonstop, Sicko, God's Plan. I had a bunch of joints to still do. Money in the Grave I was going to do. But yeah, I just had to cut because I was like, this could go really bad. Where if I've already overstayed my welcome, if somebody throws something and hits me, or like if this tide starts to turn even more, I already knew I was the talk of the gram for like the next 2 days. So I was like, let me just.
But does it fire you up, like the competitive nature of you, like no matter what? I mean, you understand the circumstances, but just like that, no matter how much success, people can still try to doubt on you one time, right? Like no matter what.
Yeah, that's a really tough group of kids to make happy, though. You know, like. It's just like a really like it's a cult following. You know, Tyler has built like a cult, and it's a tough group to make happy. So yeah, I just took it with grace. It was a nice moment of humility. I could have, you know, I remember like, you know, I remember old Wayne shows where like one person would be like yell while he's talking, and he'd be like, "Fuck this, bro!" Like throw the mic and dip. And I was thinking like, should I pull the Wheezy Baby one time and just go? But nah, it was all good, you know. It was important for me. Would I do a B-side show? Yeah, sure. I would love to do. Like we've talked about maybe doing an unplugged with all the records that I never usually perform. I think it would be great. I think it would also just showcase how serious I take performing as well. I think majority of the time people see me as on like shaky cell phone cameras and arenas, and I think it would be nice to have an intimate moment. But sorry, what I was going to say about the Flogna thing was
why did you take Giannis out?
It's funny. I feel like it builds up the story because I feel like maybe, you know, when a new album drops, I feel like maybe next year they might be calling for me. You know, you never know. I'm serious. That's how it is. Sometimes the story just needed to go like that. Sometimes you know, next year that could be the moment where, you know, I pop out and they you know, it's only 1,000 people. Bro.
Right. The story went nice for you in sports, man. I feel like you won an NBA championship.
Yeah, that was
as much as anybody. Like, what did that? I mean, I saw you go crazy after that Game 5 win, where you was really like letting the people know the passion of the city. Like, what was that experience like?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was drunk. But that speech.
This didn't exist.
How the fuck will you take Giannis out?
That is true. Yeah. But I pretty much have zero recollection of how I pieced that speech together. But it was a surreal moment.
Press conference. You called the press conference.
I know, yeah. I was just natural. It was organic. I just turned to my right and there was 30 microphones. They wanted to hear me speak. But no, it was that was like one of the, you know, you talk about not realizing how crazy something was until like it's all calmed down. Yeah. That entire playoffs and you know, building that connection with Kawhi. Obviously, I've been friends with Kyle for years and years, and you know, all the rest of the guys that have been playing their heart out on this team, even when we were not doing well. But that parade, I've honestly never seen anything like that with my two eyes in my entire life. I've never been so sure that something wasn't real. Like, I was like, this is not real. I must have like, you know, dislocated my knee and I'm like in the hospital on like morphine or something that can wake me up. Like, you know, it was crazy. It was just so much love, so much unity.
Give somebody a hug.
Yeah, it was just, not for the city. Not for real. It was just like, we were all there. We were all in it together. And, you know, I remember I was on the bus. I was like standing next to Kawhi. We were coming out underneath this bridge, like into Financial District, and you would look up at these like 50-floor skyscrapers, and every window had 20 people in it, going like this. Like, it was like, I just never seen anything like that. I don't know if any sports team will ever have a parade like that. It meant so much, and obviously because he was playing for a country, and they were all playing, you know, on behalf of a country. So it wasn't just about Toronto. It was just about being Canadian that day. It was about showing love. It was about, you know, the unthinkable happening, which is similar to my story as well. So I was very connected to it because, you know, I didn't know if I'd ever see an NBA championship in my lifetime. So, yeah, I mean, thank God for Masai. Thank God for Kawhi.
Thank God for that big-ass ring you got.
Oh, yeah.
Not that one.
Yeah.
Talking about the
yeah, no, I left those
going
upstairs.
so pure, do you think that was okay for then Kawhi to move on? Did you feel like you had to try to help to keep him? Like, was it painful to see him go to the Clippers?
Yeah, of course. It was painful to see him go to the Clippers.
Did you think he had any shot to get him to stay?
look, you can never fault a man for wanting to go home, right? So that's pretty much just the simplest way I can put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hurt. I think he's like the only franchise player to ever like walk away from a team after a championship. Right. And the way the NBA shaped up this year, like we definitely would have been back in the finals, and probably, I mean, obviously LeBron is a force, but I truly believe that that team played with heart. And this Raptors team this year has heart, and I just think that maybe with Kawhi staying and one more small move, I think that we probably could have ran it back and had a back-to-back, a real back-to-back. So yeah, it does hurt, and you could kind of feel it in the arena the other night. It was like everybody, of course, we're always going to show him love, but it was just tough to see him in a Clippers jersey and tough to get smacked by like 20 points. But
can you talk about tough verses? On Go Roses, you say you're 10 years in, we still haven't heard some of your most impressive verses. But which ones are you most proud of? Something that made you stand out, like, yo, I did that.
Just majority of the ones that really, like, I pat myself on the back for are the ones where there's a constant, fluid,
oh my God, Giannis,
conversational style, sporadic thoughts going everywhere, but somehow all connecting. So funny enough, like Gold Roses would be one of those verses, or like the record that I let you hear the other day would be one of those verses that like I'm most proud of. Because traditional rap, when I say traditional rap, like rap without melody, is kind of like going extinct a bit,
I like how you did on Already, you brought back the Smooth the Gambler Trigger.
Oh yeah, language. Yeah.
Giannis.
Yeah, like I feel like just in a mainstream space, I feel like the art of bars and just that traditional rap, the long verses.
He missed both.
It's kind of going extinct,
God.
And then you got like you got guys like Griselda making it wavy again, just to be on your like gutter straight rap shit. No, the interesting structures and just like that gutter shit.
Made that.
But other than that,
sold.
Any kid that's gonna want to make music right now, their first thing is gonna be like Pierre Bourne style beat on YouTube, and then it's like, yo, let me just first line's gonna be about like the Draco and like whatever. It's like that's kind of that is kind of where it's going. So I think just honestly, I'm just grateful to be able to rap, and the fact that people even still want to listen lets me know that I have a lot of good shit to say about life. Because I think it is really hard to captivate the younger audience by just like rapping. Yeah. I think without a hook, without a melody, without a beat that slaps, it's tough. Like 40 sent me this beat yesterday as a Primo beat, and I was like, I gotta go crazy on this beat. I started writing to it, and it just hit me like, wow, I'm gonna really rap on a Primo beat in 2020. I mean, I'm just grateful that I still even have the like desire to do that, because I think a lot of people, probably in my position would have just abandoned it and just said like, fuck that, and like, that, to be honest, like, your comment section and your followers are like,
thanks very much, Dave. I know you guys wanted this game tonight, so how were you able to get it done?
Yeah. Well, it's just like, the people that subscribe to the music that we all love, and the real core of this rap thing, it's an unforgiving space. They're an unforgiving group. Nothing's ever really good enough, not from me anyway, because I am the unconventional one.
I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I obviously, I always keep my ear out for the hardest shit. I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for, the other two guys that I'm constantly, up against, which is like Cole and Kendrick.
Three-headed monster.
Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for those guys, because they also continue to, stay true to what we started with, and finding new ways to do it. And I mean, I'm excited that the decade's about to turn, and we're gonna see who can go that extra stretch, because it is really, I think for all three of us, it is the time to see who can transcend the generations, much like Jay did, or much like Wayne did after the Hot Boys days, going into like Show Me What You Got freestyle when he just completely switched up and was like, oh, you know, so I think that year is coming up for all three of us where it's time to see, you know, are we capable of, you know, another 5-year run.
You talked about them on Touch Together when you was like, you see around a decade from now.
Yeah.
But I feel like with them, I love them, but I don't know if they really want to keep going. Like, I feel like you may hear that thing, and a lot of times with rappers, you guys want to, like, hip-hop artists, you want to go out on top, right? Nobody wants to overstay their welcome. You know, you put out 2 or 3 projects, and no one's connecting. So I could see Cole saying, okay, this is it for me for a minute, or Kendrick saying, this is it for me. But I feel like with you, I feel like your spirit is more from that competitive thing that I don't see you saying, like, this is my last one, I'm going to take a couple years off.
It's the competitive thing, and it's also just like, I'm probably one of the few people that really lives this rap life. Like, I really live this rap life for real. I'm really out here partying. You see the house.
Up at the baby
you
show.
see it. Yeah. I'm out. I'm in the streets. I'm really out here, and you know,
The lifestyle.
to those guys' credit, and a lot of, like, some of the inspiration I've taken from them for the last 6 months is just like, you know, they come, they do what they need to do, and they go back to their real life. You know, they go back to their beautiful families, and, you know, and so, that's something that, like, I've invested my time in lately, but, like, for the most part,
You out here.
I'm out here, man.
Yeah.
I'm really out here, like, living the rap life.
But I remember on 5 you say you pride yourself being the only one known for the music. And you still feel like that?
No.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that despite all the different narratives and the jokes, and I don't think anybody could really discredit my offering in this lifetime. You know, I really do feel like I am known for not how I dress, not you know, not for all the controversy, not for all the shenanigans, not for, you know, how thugged out I am, or I'm just known, you know, that I'm going to, you know, I'm not gonna flop.
Yeah.
You know, I'm coming with some shit always, you know, and that's just something that I pride myself on. Like, I think people can't question the fact, like, you know, like, okay, if there's a Drake album dropping, like, I know there's something on there that's gonna, you know, so.
Or that feature guest, I think we was talking about Stay Scheming.
Yeah.
I think your verse on there, like, arguably one of the top guest verses of the decade.
Thank you.
Do you remember, like, the approach when you was trying to, do you remember your approach when you were making that record?
Yeah, I remember we were at Ross's house, and he was playing me his project, and he just completely was like, oh yeah, this is like a song that me and French were working on, and I heard it, and I was like, yo, this is it.
Right.
For me, this is the right, it just, again, it was a rap record with bars that was wavy, that had a hook. That's very rare and very hard to come by. Like it was pure bars, but the hook kept you engaged. The beat wasn't some, like, boom bap, like granola shit that, like, you know, made you, like, just like some, like, dry ass. Like, it had a wave. It sounded like nighttime in the whip. And yeah, I took the record back with me to the hotel. I think to the studio I was at. I did the verse that night. Maybe I might have done the verse at Ross's house. And then we all went to get changed and shoot the video. That, like, an hour after the verse was done, or like maybe the next night, I don't know. Me could tell the story. Me could tell the story better than me, because he told it the other night, and now I forget it. But yeah, we that was just one of those times, man. That was like, it was just super organic, and it was just in the age of, like, yo, like, just us linking up is enough. Forget a video treatment and all this. Just us linking in the streets of Miami, just, you know, with bars was enough. And that's what I loved about that.
Did Kobe ever get at you for that line on that record?
What do you mean, get at me, like, record a song?
Address it, you know, shooting in the gym.
Did he do a diss track for me?
Jelly P.
Yeah, it wasn't about getting at me or anything like that. It was just, you know, he obviously you know,
the conversation.
Yeah, I don't think I think it was more like I think his lady I think the line became so big that I think it became a little annoying to her. I apologized a couple times. I really didn't.
I thought they
really
were talking
didn't
about
mean
the
it,
girl that accused him
like
of.
I didn't mean to like cause her any like harm in life, but you know, sometimes things take on a life of their own. And
but most of your lyrics are like that, though. Like, I catch a lot of flack because I said a lot of your bars become like life mantras, you know, they become captions and Instagram posts and things like that. But it's like when you make those kind of lines, they stick to people's ribs.
Yeah, it just became a thing, and you know, it became the line. Like, I mean, you know, if she was in the club in that era, you know, she would have heard everybody yelling that line out and maybe, you know, taking it personal. But yeah, yes, I mean, yeah, I've apologized.
Okay. But falling back this year, I saw you come out the Baby Show, like, just in general, like taking more of a backseat in 2019. What stood out to you in terms of artists or things that you paid attention to and you enjoyed?
Well, I mean, I think Thug had the best album of the year. Actually, between him and Baby Keem, Die For My Bitch, those are my two picks for album of the year.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, I just like that. It seems that you know, new artists are really becoming like superstars in their own right, you know, and I like just like the little pockets that you have, you know. I like the fact you have like the Uzi Cardis and the Cut, you know, and they're just like so influential and just like so important to like my cousin's like, you know, 18 and he came on the road with me, and it's like I'm always paying attention to what he's on and who he thinks is cool, you know. So yeah, I got a lot of respect for those guys. And then you obviously have the whole Atlanta like family, like, you know, you got Keed, you got Got It, Thug, Duke, of course Future, who's like forever, you know.
Heard Joe might be cooking back up again.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, we got,
you know what I mean?
We're always working. We got some. But yeah, what else this year? I mean, like
outside of hip hop, anything else you radar?
Oh man.
I know you gotta be happy with Snow. You know, you sampled her before.
Oh yeah. She's amazing. Yeah. Man, where's my phone? Let me see. I'll tell you.
You and Oliver don't be doing these playlists no more.
I know. He just called me too. Yeah, let me see like what's on my year-end.
You made the list. Checking it
that year-end Drake playlist.
Man, all right. Well, I listen to a lot of like drill music from UK, which is amazing that like the New York drill movement is getting so big, because it's like M1 and oh man, I forget the other Axel. Those guys, just the fact that like everyone's gonna start using their beats is so sick, because those guys deserve it. Yeah, man, like now I feel bad. Most of these songs aren't even from this year. Really, like a lot of Toronto music for me is like, you know, I pay close attention. So like obviously like, you know, the guys that you always see me around or posting, like Smiley, of course like Pressa, who I brought on tour with me before. But yeah, I just love the fact that there's just incredible music coming out of our city.
Tell that dog to shut the fuck up.
And yeah, I don't know. I got a lot of songs on here, but none of them are really like stand out like this year for sure. Yeah, my musical taste is kind of all over the place. I just listen to whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. Do you listen to other music to inspire you when you download it? Do you shut out?
No, I don't shut that out. Wayne used to shut that out. That was one thing I always was like, man, I wish Wayne, you know, would listen to some stuff, because I feel like it would just add to his fuel. You know, he always used to be like, I'm not listening to no artist because I'm making an album. But yeah, I mean, I'm inspired by music from all over. That's how I end up doing like funk records from Brazil, or you know, I'm obviously always like deeply invested in the dancehall space. Afrobeats has become one of the biggest genres in the world. You know, obviously, no credit. But
no, you give I was actually talking to Tuma that works at YouTube. He was crediting you for kind of popularizing Afrobeats with One Dance, and it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Come Closer, One Dance. Like, first of all, the music those like the music those artists make in that space, there's nothing better than that.
Right.
So I'll never sit here and say, oh, One Dance is like the best Afrobeats record, but I do think that genre deserved to get this popular, and I'm very happy that I was able to even be part of that conversation.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I'm just trying to think like rap space. Yeah, it would be Keem, it would be Young Thug for me, and you know all the Toronto guys. And then like I said, you know I really like just in our like rap space, like I really like the fact that you know just that whole like clicking up Griselda shit is just ill to me.
Nikola
Griselda the other
Jokic.
play, that's
How you doing?
Are we gonna get a Drake and Benny the Butcher?
I'm down. Benny showed me love one time on an interview too, like, you know, and I know obviously like, you know, I think they were actually talking about like the song that he has with My Boy, but now he did show me love. So, I think what they're doing is great. It just reminds me of just a different time.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to do, you know, to you know make that music and just come off wavy and be interesting, and you know, just even the label name and the tag and you know, it's ill, man. I'm happy for those guys. They deserve it.
I look at Drake as like the hopeless romantic when you listen to songs like Marvin's Room and things like that. Like you say, that's like not a lifestyle you can get into. Like, where you at right now?
Well, I only say that line because I find so many people challenging me, like, oh man, like, you know, you can't be single forever, like you. But then, like, you know, sometimes you look behind the curtain at a lot of people's relationships, and they're just not as like peachy as they seem. So that was just kind of my shot at like anybody who feels like, oh, like you should have settled by now. I love my space. I love my work, and I love my routine. And for me to break that for somebody, it would just have to be like a really special person that fits into that puzzle and that is supportive of the things I'm doing. It have to be somebody that has taste in music. It have to be somebody that, you know, that I get along with so much to the point that when we're separate, I'm feeling like I can't function properly without their presence. I have come across it a few times. I've yet to be able to hold on to it for whatever reason. But yeah, I just really, you know, I'm the captain of a ship, and I look behind me and I see a lot of people on board, and you know, full steam ahead. That's just kind of how I have to keep rocking for right now, and hopefully I can find somebody that, you know, can just stand beside me at the wheel and help me steer while we keep the journey going, as opposed to me having to pull over and stop because that person is getting seasick. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sounds like a Drake line. Drake ball right there. God damn it, Drake, you're good at this thing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Was that situation, relationship with Jennifer Lopez real, or was that just?
Yeah, I have plenty of love for her. We had great times together, and we were just hanging out at one point. It was an honor to be around her. She's a great artist, great mother, and yeah, got nothing but positive things to say about her.
Have another drink to that. Absolutely.
I think we're good, right?
Amazing.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, guys.
For real.
Appreciate that. No, it was great. I feel good about it.
What's business-wise, what are some moves you guys are making in terms of people miss your content to the world?
Yeah, no, 2020 is going to be a great time, and you know, thank you. Yeah, Dream Crew, our company. You know, we have a lot of other things in the works. Obviously, Top Boy Season 2, Euphoria Season 2. It's a space that we both really love.
Drake. You said Euphoria Season 2 in this 2019. This is 2024, my G.
So many just amazing filmmakers, directors, writers that deserve a shot, you know, in the era where people are just remaking old movies and making superhero movies over and over again.
Exactly.
We stand for something that's like, you know, stories that need to be told. So, yeah, definitely excited about that moving forward, and
the music,
and the music,
this album,
and the music.
What can we expect in the next 10 years from Drake, man?
Just continuing to find myself, you know, the same way we can sit here and talk all these hours about who I used to be, or, you know, who I once was, or what I once thought were my dreams. I guess it's just like a reset button, right? Like for all of us. It's weird because it's really just a number changing. Like it's just like 19 to 20, but in your mind, I think it's gonna probably do something to all of us, where it's like, you know, you're embarking on a different journey. So you're just gonna have to, you know, more self-discovery. You know, hopefully going up, not down, and building a few more of these different places. And, that's it though. Yeah, I don't know. I never really. I'm not one of those people that like has like a list up in my room of like things that need to happen. I just kind of take it as it comes.
So what is one of your biggest accomplishments, you know, looking back in the last 10 years, musically?
Musically?
Yeah.
Well, I guess
It's been a lot.
Yeah, just like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a generic answer, but it would just be the fact that like the feeling I get when I'm out in the world is one of respect. It's like really, I think that my career has a lot of integrity, and I think I'm very excited about that, because I think I could have let that drop a bunch of times, you know. And I also think one of my biggest accomplishments is the fact that I didn't let this massive change in my life destroy me, you know. I still don't do drugs, you know. I drink, but even if I drink every day, I don't drink to black out. I don't drink to escape my sadness. I don't drink to the point that it affects my family or my career. I think I'm just happy that I'm still intact. You know, that's my biggest accomplishment. I made a lot of money. I made, you know, did a lot of things, been a lot of places, had a lot of opportunities to fuck this up and didn't. And, you know, I could be at dinner with my mom and still hear her say, like, you know, I'm proud, you're still you, you're in there, you know? And I'm looking at you, you're there, it's you. It's not like a shell of who you used to be or some shit like that, you know? And like I said, you know, with all the things that, you know, I just watched the Lil Peep documentary on Netflix, which is really genius documentary, you should watch it. And I didn't really know too much about him at the time, but now all of a sudden I'm just like deeply invested in the career that he had. But it's just really people don't understand how overwhelming this is for these young kids, man. And I was young. I was young like that too, once upon a time. And, you know, some people say they don't. I can never understand how you know, you can't understand till you get here. How insane this shit can be when you're carrying a bunch of people on your back and expected to do so much. And so I would say that that's my biggest accomplishment, is just it's just still being here, and I pray that all these guys moving forward just, you know, take it one day at a time, keep the right people around you, and just know that even when it is, you know, it is overwhelming, just know that it's not like, you know, the end, that you know, I just want people to stay around. That's really my biggest thing, you know. That stuff fucks with me when we lose people and stuff like that. I don't like that stuff, because I want to hear what all these kids have to offer. So.
Here's Chambers. 8 points for him. Jokic passes to Chambers. Back to Jokic. Jokic tries the double. The Nuggets moving the ball around. Gordon with a steal. And there's the call. It's going to be in this screen. We've got a moment now to go to our rookie watch and find out who among the NBA's freshman class have been the hottest shooters. Look at T. So solid around the basket. Currently third in the league. And his confidence is going to
Hey, PJ, what the fuck are you doing? Oh my God, I was like a fucking linebacker right there. Catch the ball. Pull that dude.
Dodge that!
Hey, what did I tell you about all that yelling?
Fuck. Come on, bro. Come on, chat. Come on, chat. Chat, we go, bro. Come on. This is gonna be legendary, bro. This is gonna be one for the books, bro.
Ow, bro. You keep I think nah. Kai, I don't care. What you telling me for? Oh, what? What are you doing, bro? Something about you. Hoop it up.
I need more flies. I don't have heels. Yo, why? Yo, Chatty. For the niggas who don't play, it's not a game where you have unlimited heals, okay? There is no unlimited heals, okay? Show everyone this so we can appreciate it.
Understand why you like me so much, 'cause I don't like myself. I don't understand how you
Greedy, greedy.
You say you got a million, but I can't think of one. What the fuck? Bro. Ooh. Anything to me, to hold me closer. You say you can.
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Here's what Portland has lined up on their schedule. On Monday, they'll be taking on Victor Oladipo and the Houston Rockets. Then on Wednesday, they'll continue the road trip.
I think it's going to be an interesting.
Yeah, I run away in fear of me dying today. Yeah, I pray for a better. Chill, cheerio, everything's all good, right? I got rich, I'm living the fast life. It's in my bank account, I got cash, right? Never make me happy. It don't. And the devil watching. Ooh, in the year of the glitz and the glam and the TVs. What are you passing for? Oh my gosh, terrible shot. Yeah, I run away in fear of me dying today. I'm not the same who said he made that. My demons are breaking out of the cage. Bro. Don't give up. Yeah. Who said I was subject to change? My demons are breaking out of the cage.
Bro, that move is too crazy, bro. That move is too crazy, bro.
Murray's got himself going there. His first points of the game with the blue ball.
Hold on, my man.
Hey Kai, look, whatever you do, I don't want to do it, man. When I come down here, you don't want to shoot it, man.
When she does the waterfall dance,
bro, how, they making everything, bro. Like what the hell?
What's a waterfall dance? The air?
That's it for the first half of action. What's been a very close game here. Trailblazers lead by 1 from Portland. We're back in a moment.
Okay. Hold on, let me make sure. Leave that there. Hold on. Let me make sure that my headphones is
Zach, this reminds me of our day. They're not just hoisting up 1,000 threes. They're dumping the ball inside to the paint. Okay, now let's see what's going on around the league in terms of injuries. The Pistons are at less than 100. And that's a halftime wrap. Let's get back to the second half.
I wish we can get Nick Claxton, bro. As backup center for the Suns. He's not signing up. Is Brooklyn gonna re-sign him? I think they have to. That's their only center, right? Yeah, it's their only promising center. They probably re-sign him like to a 2-year, $20 million, probably. 2-year, $18 million, something like that. They're not gonna give him. They don't have. They use their draft pick on another center.
I just see my living room for the first time. I just see my living room for the first time. Nigga, I went to talk. Bro, what? Nigga, I went to put my headphones. Nigga, my phone is literally right here. Come on, bro. What the fuck is that niggas talking about?
Wait, what are they saying?
Laser Lace Max. Nigga, what?
So fuck.
When she does a waterfall dance, go back and dodge into her.
Here's Chambers.
One back.
To Jokic. This one for 3. The rebound by Sharp. Sharp's got his first rebound with that last one here tonight.
Oh my god. He's fast as shit.
In order to do that, I had to I got an R3. No.
Here's Chambers.
To unlock.
Here's Chambers. Special move before the shot. Chambers got 16 points.
That kick takes the lead totally.
That's mad work, but I'm gonna try it.
If you're not going to fight over, you're essentially giving the shooter the look he wants.
I'm just glad I'm comfortable with her now. He's not verified. I mean, he's not, I didn't VIP him. Can you kiss? Under the level,
on the side and triumph. On the side of me, baby, you're the one. Baby, you're the one for me. Seem to figure out why.
So, waterfall, run back. Oh no. Waterfall, run back. Second one, hop. I'm gonna swing.
Oh, that was green.
Waterfall, run back.
Baby, you're
Second
the
one.
Baby, you're the one.
Waterfall,
On
run
your
back.
side.
Run back. Third one. Huh? And it goes like this.
Baby, you're the one for me. I'm shooting this three. I don't give a fuck what happens. I missed it like a dumbass.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Baby, you're the one.
Left eye back.
Baby, you're the one. On the sudden triumph. On the side of me. Baby, you're the one. Baby, you're the one. No, don't go up.
Freaky ass.
I had to get my teammates involved this quarter, man. What are you coming in for, bro?
Greedy.
What? Thought he would make that. Whoa. Why did you go up? That's why I said. Tired of crying, please, please send back in my arms. Oh, I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of dying. Please, please save me from myself. Oh. All out of luck when you miss me. All out of luck when you distance me. All out of luck when you listen me. All out of love and pretend to sleep. I'm in for you. I'm in, I feel for you. I just know my love is real for you. I just know. I'm tired of the fighting. I'm tired of the trying. Please, please come back in my arms. Oh, I'm tired of the trying. I'm tired of the dying. Please, please save me from myself. Oh, oh, oh,
Oh, she's always catching me.
Yeah. Got a little bit later. Yeah, I'm about a year today. About a year like a bird. Inside peanut butter, 10 times juice, my money, bitch, all I got. Yeah, I put that and fuck that money all up. Hold on, wait. I'm fucking a baddies. I'm fucking a badness. I'm fucking a bad bitch. I'm fucking a baddest. I'm the bad homie. I never need practice. I'm gonna double and triple. Your money subtracting. Cut off on the J's, cut off on the top, cut off on the swerve. I ain't fucking with nobody. Big got a crib in the birds. They beat it and got so mad, they shit and got it no words. Free wide sell out the chain gang, bitch, fuck 12, they birds. I ran out my money the most, I'm richer than all of the nerds. I'm flexing a big bang roll, these knots in my pocket say big bang roll. Look, 24/7, I just need popping these pills and these motherfucking purrs. You cannot rob with that game with me, but you get hit with a motherfucking AR. Only you talking no bitch on the Instagram, bitch. I just motherfucking stay off. Bitch, you do it like us and you do it like us, you gonna get a big payout. Hey, oh, little ass. Oh shit.
She got my ass!
I'm about to motherfucking burn a bit. Yeah. Yeah. Look at the way you get down. Look at the way that I sound. New watch every day of the week. New watch every which IP. That old fuck. Like you're, yeah. I'm about a year a day. If I paint yard like a bird. Inside peanut butter 2 times 2. My money, bitch, all I got. Yeah. That's cash. What? When they gonna double and triple? Your money subtracting. Cut off on a J, cut off on a cop, cut off on a swerve, huh? I ain't really fucking with nobody. Big got a crib in the bird. Yeah, free ass sell out the change, ain't. Bitch, you gonna got it. Love and not thugging, but loving, and you know you ain't mine.
Yeah. Run to her, run to her, run to her!
One more time for you now. Yeah. One more time for your love. One more time for your friend. One more time till you satisfied with me. One more time for the fuck. One more time to the end. Hit me, hit me. With me, with me, with me. Look, it's this one last time I'm loving you. One last time I trust you. One more time you trust you with my heart. Loving you ain't easy. Loving you ain't easy. Like, why are you making me do that? You'll be my moon, I'll be a shining star, created in love. Either way it goes, I'm counting on you. My love, my soul, my love belongs to you. Oh my God, throw it earlier. My soul belongs to you.
I panicked.
Therapy, still hasn't got me right. Still enough iron on the floor. Emotional support. I just wanna do this on my own. I just get the demons what they want. It's got along. Yeah. Drinks, and their habits. This together is forever as it falls. I'm trying to be friends with my sadness. Sadness. Damn. You leave the pain, the fun I like the most. 'Cause I'm really get a chance. I hear lyrics about anybody else. Please just get some tears and dance. Oh, I just wanna do this on my own. I just think my team is what they want. If you really are just getting along. Yeah. For my sadness.
Auto lock!
Sadness, can we be
there's
friends?
no way we can do that for auto lock, bro.
Can we be friends? Sadness, can we be friends?
So ass, bro.
Can we be friends? Hit me. Psych. Wow. So I'm trying to be friends with my sadness. I should have went. I should have went.
I can't think that fast, bro.
We all got one common goal. Third eye open, never close.
I can't think that fast. I'm gonna have to pen again. Second one is the easiest one.
Why did I shoot that? Until you find God eyes, if you don't try, you never know, no, no, no. 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 I want another dose. Money's on my rank, dosito, gas flow, like all in the public time. Damn. We all got one coming. Said I know, no, no, no. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you don't. Damn, bro. I'm missing those. It's only 211. That's perfect. That's perfect. Let's get the work, bitch. That's perfect. Finna get the work, bitch. Hey, that's perfect. Finna get the work, bitch. Hey, that's perfect. Finna get the work, bitch. Hey, that's perfect. Yeah, right, brother. Oh, you that brother? Give me that brother. Give me that brother. Give me that brother. I'm like, what the fuck is that brother? Give me that brother. Give me that brother. Give me. I'm happier than ever. Yes, I would explain it better. I wish it wasn't true. Give me a day or two to think of something clever, to write myself a letter. Tell me what to do. never knew, or do you? That's in my avenue when you said I was passing through. As I even on your way, I knew when you asked you to be cool. You can only hope to contain what I was telling you. You did the opposite of what I said you'd do, and I end up all afraid. Don't say it wasn't fair, 'cause you're unaware that you made me miserable. If you really wanna know when I'm away from you, I'm happier than I wish I could explain it better. I wish it wasn't true. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Do, do, do. You call me again, drunk in the ends, driving home under the influence. You turn me to death, but I'm wasting my breath, 'cause you only listen to your fuck. I don't relate to you. I don't relate to you, no, 'cause I never treat me this shitty. You make me hate this city. And I don't talk shit about you on the internet. Never told anyone anything bad, 'cause that shit's embarrassing. You were my everything. All that you did was make me fucking sad. Look, don't waste the time I don't have. And don't try to make me feel bad, I can talk about it. Time that you showed up on time, but I haven't easy. 'Cause you never did, never gave any minds of my friends, so I got them all out for you, 'cause I was a kid. You ruined everything good. Always said you were misunderstood. Getting all my moments, you're do do do